What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a weekly gaming news show. We are your hosts. My name is Trenell, and I'm here as always with the homeboy Todd. What is up, Todd?
What is up, man? What is up? We got news, and news.
So much news. Oh my goodness. If you're new to the show, this is a podcast run by us, and we basically just give you guys the news, the gaming news from the previous week. And then, we report it, and then we give our opinions on it. We're two very seasoned gamers, been playing games, and we like to share our opinion with you guys, and we like to discuss our opinions with you guys as well. So that's what we're all about. But this show is going to be a little different from our normal format because unless you've been living under a rock, you've noticed that E3 just went by. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. This was a good E3. A lot of surprises, and not as many disappointments as I would have expected.
No, I thought all of the major players came out strong. There was one noticeable absence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But other than that, everybody came out strong. I mean, everybody has their opinion who won, who did what. But I was happy to see stuff from everybody. Yeah. Some of the stuff I saw, I was happy that I got to see it and that it's coming out.
Yeah, so. Same here. I agree with that 100%. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. I'm just gonna reiterate. If you're new here, we usually go live on Sundays, but we were recognizing Father's Day on Sunday, so that's why we're doing it on Monday. So
take care of Dad, right?
So yeah, got to take care of Dad, man. So that's our usual schedule. Sundays at 7. And then they usually go up on YouTube and everything on Monday at noon. This is Eastern time I'm referring to. But without further delay, let's go ahead and get into the show. And I hope you guys brought your popcorn because this is going to be a doozy. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a doozy. And
there's going to be some fawning. There's going to be some ranting. And a little bit of stuff in between.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. We got something very special planned for you guys. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, we have a correction from last week. So Boogie, why don't you go ahead and address that?
Yeah, so Boogie made a boo-boo last week. So I erroneously blame Epic for the not so subtle ripoff that is called Paladins. Mm-hmm. In fact, Paladins is actually been developed by Hi-Res Studios, who did Smite and Ascend. Epic did a game, I guess, close to the same genre, Paragons, which I got those two confused. And I put Paladins on Epic, but in fact, Epic has nothing to do with Paladins. Their game in this close to this genre is Paragon. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that. I apologize, Epic, and you guys out there, you guys working hard.
Yeah.
Not plagiarizing or.
Oh God, dude, there's even more. I think I saw this earlier today. There's even more, freaking Overwatch like ripoffs out there, dude. There's this Chinese one, and like they are ripping off Overwatch on an entirely different level. Like, they have like Star Troopers and all types of shit. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I saw that. But that's China. That's what China does.
Yeah, I mean, that's China what they do.
Everything. They rip off iPhones. They rip off Samsung Galaxies. They rip off Xboxes. They rip off PlayStation. They have their own little thing going on.
They rip off just about everything, dude. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But yeah, I thought that was funny when I saw it. I was like, Star Troopers? Oh shit!
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was our update and correction from last week. So let's go ahead and get into the show, the meat and potatoes, and we're gonna start off with the weekly icebreaker. And what that is a question that we like to ask of the panel, which may include other people. Sometimes we have guests on the show. I didn't think it was necessary because this is going to be a long show.
Yeah,
but
just us two.
Yeah, just us two this week. We're gonna ask the question: what was your favorite reveal at E3? And remember, you guys can always submit us questions as well via our social media. Use the hashtag weekly icebreaker and submit us a question, and we'll answer it live on stream for you guys. So, what was your favorite reveal at E3, Boogie? And I don't want to go too into detail because we're going to talk about everything, but just give me one reveal that kind of like blew you away.
Ubisoft and their new IPs, and specifically Skulls and Bones, right?
Skulls and Bones, yeah.
Yeah, that game looks amazing, and yeah, Microsoft probably wasn't smiling too much with that Skull and Bones release, but yeah,
no, not at all.
When I saw that, I was like, yes, something new that seems to be very exciting. So I was definitely excited to see that.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, this also comes out of the Ubisoft press conference. It was the Beyond Good and Evil 2 reveal. There had been absolutely like no leaks that I have been aware of that, would say that this was something that was happening.
Right. I mean, there was like some storyboard or art.
Yeah, so it's like concept art
last year.
Yeah, right? but everybody assumed that was from the previous attempt at making the sequel. Because this was supposed to be an Xbox 360 game.
Right.
Back in the day. And so everybody just assumed that it was, based on that, and he just published it so that the public can see, kind of just giving everybody an insight on what they were working on at the time. But little did we know that we would get a sequel all these years later. And I think that was like one of my favorite reveals. Ubisoft definitely did it up this year, and we'll go deeper into that once we get to that portion. But yeah, so that was our weekly icebreaker. Submit us questions. We're on Facebook, Twitter. You can leave comments in the comment section on YouTube, wherever you're consuming this media. We will definitely take a look at it and answer your questions live on stream if you submit it to us. So. It's just so much that we need to talk about. I'm looking at the show notes and I'm just getting intimidated a little bit. There's a lot that we need to cover.
It's a long list, right?
It's a long list.
Going and going.
Yeah. So first off, we're going to talk about some stuff that happened outside of E3 in our quick hits section. And go ahead.
So now, normally, if you keep up with our Watch Out show weekly, quick hits is usually towards the end. We're flipping it this week just because of all of the news out of E3, and so we're going to start with the quick hits, and then we'll move on into the stories of the week and the long form.
Right. So let's go ahead and get into that. The first story that we have on our quick hits list is that IO Interactive is going to be its own independent developer, and they're going to retain all of the rights to the Hitman franchise. Now, I feel like this is like the one of the best situations that could have come out of this.
Right.
We were both worried that they would get sucked into like an EA or an Activision, and then be forced into co-developing like some
sequel or heavy big franchise.
Right, and then whoever they decided, was worthy of the Hitman franchise, whether it be like somebody on a high level or, something off on the back burner, right. We wouldn't get the same love, care, and polish that, the fans of the Hitman series have come to expect from IO Interactive. So right. I feel like this is probably the best case scenario for those guys.
Right. Especially for Hitman fans, and it allowed them to have a sole focus on this game and with full creative control.
Right,
they can do some things that maybe they weren't able to do prior.
Right, yeah, because if you look into the history of this game, there was a lot of things that they wanted to do that just weren't able to be done, and one of the reasons why this game was broken up into chunks is because they couldn't delay it.
Right.
They weren't allowed to delay the game.
They had to meet their deadlines.
And the only way to meet that was to release the game in increments. Right. And then, there was an issue with like the marketing. Like, okay, well, what do we market? Do we market the initial release where it's kind of like a bare bones product? Or do we market later on down the road, but then the game will already have been out? We have reviews. Right. There's a lot for them to think about. So I really think that this is good. This is good for them, and hopefully they'll be able to do some really good work and even, come up with some new ideas. I know one big thing about working under, like being a subsidiary to a company is, owning your own ideas. So now anything that they come up with will be all their own.
It's their own. That's right. Right. Yeah. Full creative control.
And big ups to what's it called? Who was they on? There was a Square Enix. So big ups to them for allowing them to retain the rights to the property.
Right.
They could have easily just kept it.
Right, could have kept it, or just made it a nightmare for them to try to get it back.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be unusual for them to just keep the IP and just store it in cold storage for years and years.
Right, yeah. They easily could have done that and turned turned Hitman into some like MMO or some shit.
Survival zombie game.
Oh Lord, we're gonna talk about them later too. But yeah, so big ups to Square Enix. From the looks of it, it doesn't seem like there was any like malicious or malintent in their departure. It was just wasn't seen as a financial gain for Square, so they decide to just let them do their own thing. If this is, and maybe they'll turn to crowdfunding or something like that, and appeal directly to their audience. I feel like that's nothing but a good thing, in my opinion.
Yep.
All right, what's the next quick hit that we got?
GTA. We got a GTA story here. So
GTA.
Yeah, GTA 5 is uber popular, especially GTA Online, super popular.
Man, I don't know. This game still manages to sell.
Oh yeah, because
this year, like it's ridiculous.
Well, part of the reason is because Open 4, which is the GTA modding tool. I mean, it's the modern tool that most of the modern community uses to put stuff into, from levels to assets, like anything from horses to cars to character models. Apparently, recently, the Good NTS, who's the lead developer for Open 4, got a cease and desist from Take-Two.
Yeah.
So he took it down. He's not going to fight with Take-Two. Legally. I mean, he may have a good legal stance, but the effort and money it takes for somebody that's just a community modder is not worth it for him.
No, definitely not.
So he just took it down, and
not only did he take it down, he advised everybody that had it installed to delete it.
Delete it, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, go ahead and delete it if you don't want possible legal action taken against you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I that's disappointing. It's probably because the speculation is that GTA Online, Take-Two is going to look to monetize GTA Online using microtransactions.
Ew.
And if they're going to be using microtransactions to add stuff, and you still have the easy to mod, the mod tool to make modding easy,
it just creates a back door,
right? For them to, you can just avoid
pain.
Yeah, avoid pain and just make it yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh, so. I don't know. For some reason in my head, like when you brought up the idea of microtransactions in GTA, because a lot of their DLC, especially for the online, has been free.
Right.
A lot of it. So
right.
To me, it's like some like backwards incentive for people to stop playing it so that they can move on to something else. I don't know.
Play the game.
I don't know. It's like super popular all these years later. Like I stopped playing the game before it was even released on Xbox One, PS4, and I don't think the PC version was even out yet.
What's this? From 2013, 2012? 2013, right? Because it came out the year before the Xbox One, PS4.
Let's take a look. We got Google. We have the technology. Came out, September 17th, 2013.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember, like, at launch, the online wasn't available yet.
Right.
So, like, it was a few months before I was able to play GTA Online. But like after like a little while and like a couple of updates, I was done. I was done. Then they released it on the current gen consoles. Then they released it on PC, and I'm just like, how are people still having fun with this game? I don't know. I mean, great game, great story. But damn, like I can only play one game for so many decades. I'm sorry. One decade at a time. Rockstar, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but this
is just another example of you run the gambit, you run the risk of having your product shut down when you're using somebody's intellectual property.
If it's not your own, you don't have control over it. I mean, there's really not much you can do about it.
Not much at all, actually.
So I mean, it's sad because anytime when it's mods, because most of the modders, they release the mods for free. They don't monetize. Oh
yeah, of course. If they were monetizing, that's
even worse.
That's even worse. Yeah, they can forget cease and desist. Like, I'll see you in court, boy.
Right.
I want that money you made and some.
Right, but I mean, it just sucks that because the community is super creative with these mods.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so now that they're going away, it kind of sucks. I kind of feel bad for the community, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's the risk you run.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next quick hit. What we got?
So I think it's like 1983 again, because Atari has announced a new console. So apparently they've been working on the console. It's supposed to be PC based. There's no release date, no other. The only detail we have is that it's going to have wood grain paneling. So
yeah, so I mean, for nostalgia's sake, I mean, damn, go ahead and dust off your old consoles. Your what's it, the 2600? Yeah, go ahead and dust off your 2600s, man.
Yeah. So I had the 2600, I had the 5200, and I had the 7800. I did not have the Jaguar. That was the last console, I think.
I think the Yeah, I think so. They may have came out with some a handheld or two afterwards. I can't remember.
Right, but yeah. So I mean, if you want an Atari, if you want a Steam box that looks like an Atari,
that's essentially what it is, man.
I can't imagine them just opening a whole new gaming console platform. It's possible. I don't believe it though.
No, yeah, definitely not. That's just like coming out with the Dreamcast 2. It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Even if they did it, it'll most likely be a Steam machine. It's just like a box that's themed by a company. Like, what is it? And this is weird. I thought Atari was like out of business or something. Like, what are they even doing?
They were purchased by a holding company, I believe. So it's essentially a new company that's using an Atari name to make a product. Okay. Is essentially what it is. Yeah, Atari Box.
Atari Box.
Yeah, if you want more.
Terrible name, man. They should have come up with a number.
That's a code name.
Oh, okay. So it's not the official name.
Yeah, it's not the official name.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they're coming out with something at some point. If you want to get updates, you can go to ataribox.com and sign up.
The newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing how the Steam boxes, the Steam machines didn't really catch on. I don't really know if Atari has the grounds to make this work.
I don't know. They might have some secret sauce up their sleeves or something. I don't know.
They're gonna need something because come on now. and in this economy, really? Yeah. How much is it gonna cost? That shit better cost $350. Stop playing with me. We're gonna get more into that later. Let's go ahead and move on to the next quick hit. And that is that Yakuza and Persona 5 may be heading to PC.
Yeah. So oh gosh, in an interview, your Sega's VP in Europe, your VP, was John Clark, said that apparently Sega has a list of all of their popular or cult hits that were available for console only, and they have an internal list of games that they want to look to bring to PC, because they're bringing, what game did they just announce? Was it Bayonetta?
They did Bayonetta and they did Vanquish.
Vanquish, that's right. So they just announced Vanquish. So I mean, they have a list of games internally, and the interviewer pushed and asked, because the two that are the most popular or most asked about are the Yakuza and Persona series, and when the interviewer asked him about those two particular titles, he said, yes, those two games are on the list. So basically, Sega is thinking about it, weighing the pros and cons of bringing these classic cult favorites to PC.
No, that's good, because for the longest time, especially with the Yakuza series, I can't speak for the Persona series, but for Yakuza, those were always PlayStation exclusives, and the majority of the games only came out in Japan. So if they were to do a digital release, that would lower the cost, because they wouldn't have to ship it or anything like that. They wouldn't have to worry about shipping or putting it in retailers. If they just went with a simple digital release, I feel like that would only help that franchise. Yakuza is actually very popular for how underrepresented it is in
right.
the West. Like the gamers, the fans of it, they freaking love it. Our good friend from Infinite Inventory, he is a huge fan of the Yakuza series, and more recently, Mount Lover, our good friend from the new Challenger Discord, has been playing it nonstop. I have not talked to this guy in like a week and a half
because he's playing Yakuza.
he's been playing Yakuza 5. Yeah, he's been playing it. I think that's
because he just got the PlayStation.
Yeah, he just got the PlayStation 4, so he's been playing that pretty much nonstop. So that's nothing but a good thing. It'll only increase the interest in those two franchises. I believe Persona 5 may have something similar where it was like exclusive. I know that
Persona is only on PlayStation.
Only on PlayStation. I think like some of the spin-off games are only on like handhelds and stuff like that.
Right.
So that is just opening up the franchises to, a larger audience.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about, shipping or, retail costs.
Right. It makes it a lot easier.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. The digital world makes it a lot easier, lowest costs, and it allows for developers or content creators to get their content out there at a much lower cost than it would have maybe 10 years ago, where they had to set up packaging and distribution channels.
Yeah. So and I think I'm not sure what the most recent. I think Yakuza 0 already came out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 already came out. Then they came out with 5. I think that they're going to be re-releasing the first game in like the new graphics engine. I think that's the next one coming down the pipeline. If they release that on PC, that would be dope. I might be all over that because I've actually played the first one. I had that. I played that on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the only games that had English voice acting. The rest of them had subtitles.
Japanese. Yeah.
Okay, right. We're moving down the list. Quick hits. What we got next?
Injustice 2. So, Injustice 2 is a new game, but TBS, that's right, Turner Broadcasting Station. They have an E-League, and they are hosting a Injustice 2 tournament. It's going to be actually an Injustice 2 competitive season, a $250,000 prize pool. Feature matches will be aired live on TBS, and all the rest of the matches you'll be able to find through their online distributions. This October, starting October 21st, is when the open qualifiers begin. So
TBS going where the money is, man.
Yeah, esports. And they already had. I mean, they launched it I think last year, and they launched it with Overwatch, League of Legends, and cotton picking. I'm forgetting the third game. Overwatch, League of Legends, and Counter Strike.
Okay. Hey, so go ahead and qualify if you can. I mean, Injustice, I feel like it just came out and it's getting so much support in the
sports league,
the esports leagues.
Yep.
So just another company just going where the money is. I can't really blame them for it.
Nope.
Can't blame them for it at all.
Nope, not at all.
All right.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say TBS, even before they launched their own E-League, they have been dabbling in esports. They have been broadcasting tournaments and matches. So it's I guess this is the next logical step for them, right?
Right. You just do it themselves.
Right.
Instead of just getting like the publishing rights or broadcasting rights, they could just do it themselves, and it'll only be broadcast there and wherever they allow it.
Yep. Taking
control of the situation. Can't fault them for that. All right, going down the list. This is our last quick hit.
Quick hit.
The last quick hit is a doozy. It is a doozy. All right, so you remember that company, Konami?
Yeah,
remember those guys?
I remember those guys.
All right, so if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or Mixer, you can see the little logo that I have up. If you're watching on Facebook, Boogie has a different logo up. I have the classic one up because this is how I remember these guys. I remember Konami from making awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games for the arcades.
Yeah.
Just awesome beat 'em ups and just having a good time with their
Double
games.
dribble, man. He's on fire.
Yeah. I just remember having a good time. Every time I saw the Konami logo, this logo that I'm showing, it just meant that I was going to have a good time, whether it was like a beat 'em up or like a sports game or what have you. But man, are these guys just trying to just destroy? Are they trying to implode on themselves? Like, what are they doing?
I don't know. I have no idea. They're like a vengeful ex-wife or something. I don't know what the heck their problem is.
It's crazy because it's like it doesn't even make sense with that analogy, because it's like Konami's like an abusive husband, right? They beat the hell out of you, and then when the woman leaves, they're fucking sad. It's like, no, you can't be sad. You beat the hell out of me. You can't be sad. No, you're not the victim, Konami. Oh, God. Anyway, so the story is that they are allegedly blacklisting their former employees. Pretty much just keeping them from being successful anywhere else.
Specifically, Kojima Productions employees.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a story out there that there was an employee that applied for a job at a insurance company, just a health insurance company specializing in gaming health or something to that effect. But he was denied the job because apparently a Konami board member is also a chair in that company. And there's also stories of them sending notes to media not to interview these people, and
it's
wow.
It's terrible, man.
Wow. I mean, you got out of the game and you ruined Metal Gear, and you wanted to make slot machines. Go make your slot machines. Just go away.
Yeah, really. take Castlevania, take freaking Metal Gear Solid, and just run those into the ground. Okay, right. Leave everybody else alone. Leave these dudes alone, man. Like,
exactly. It's horrible. It's bad. It looks bad on them.
It looks terrible on them, as if they needed anything else.
Right. Whether it's true or not, the problem with Konami is that their image is in such a way that
I believe it.
Everybody's going to believe it. Right. It's in such a way, it's like, yeah, I can see Konami doing this. So, yeah, it's horrible. I'm not a Kojima fan, but this is worse.
No, yeah, I've never been like a super like Metal Gear fan or anything like that, but I always appreciated the fandom that was behind Metal Gear,
right,
and like the love that those people had for not only the property but the director, in Kojima. I had nothing but respect for him and his fan base because they're passionate.
Yep.
But this is just terrible, man.
It's too much.
And it kind of cements the idea that all of that stuff that hasn't been confirmed, outright.
Right.
That stuff that happened to Kojima
as he was leaving.
Yeah, it just cements all of that stuff in people's mind. Like, yeah, they most likely did that crap, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most likely cut off Kojima's freaking phone in his office. Like, come on, man.
Get out of here, man.
Get the hell out of here.
Exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, so I am personally gonna just try and remember Konami as they were back in the 80s and 90s, and just remember me how I was, not how I am.
Yeah, I remember Konami from Blades of Steel, and Double Dribble. Those are my joints.
Yeah, mostly the Turtle games, but I think they actually published some other games. I think Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah,
like old school Genesis titles, and the arcade X-Men beat 'em up.
Yep. They were on top of the
Simpsons game. Like, oh, come on. Those are classics, man.
They were on top of the game at one point, and they just fell all the way off because, like you said, they were overly controlling over what was being pumped out, and what was being pumped out was trash. Outside of Metal Gear,
Castlevania to an extent. I mean, they tried, but I guess they just didn't have the backing. And then it got to a point where Kojima had his hand in like every product that was coming out of Konami. He had his hand in the Lords of Shadow series for Castlevania. He had his hand in the PT demo, like that was supposed to be the new Silent Hill. Like he was basically keeping that company relevant.
Right. He tried his best to keep them afloat, and they wouldn't even allow him to do that.
They wouldn't even allow him to make them money. How dare you, Kojima? How dare you try to make us tons and tons of money with your awesome talent? Get the hell out of here. I'm cutting off your phone line. The fuck?
Oh man.
But yeah. So that was our quick hits. Rest in peace to Konami, as if they couldn't dig themselves an even deeper hole. These guys just seem incapable of, keeping the shit together. But,
no, not at all.
But yeah, it's whatever. Like I said before, you can submit stories to us for, the question of the day, which is our weekly icebreaker. You can also submit stories for us for the quick hit section, because any stories that you think that you would like us to talk about, we'll be more than happy to do so. Just submit it to us via our social media, and we'll report it and give our opinion on it. That's kind of like the format that we go for. You know, we don't pride ourselves in being, we're number one to bring you the news. Like, no, everybody else has talked about it when it happened. We just like to give our opinion and have a detailed discussion on what happened.
And opinions we do have.
Yeah, and the opinions that we do have. So we're going to move on to our next segment, which is going to be pretty much the rest of the show. Right. And that's going to be the top 5 mixed in with our long form discussion.
The E3 extravaganza.
The E3 extravaganza. I wish I had see if I'd have known I was going to do something like I would have had air horns. I don't have air horns. But before we get into that, let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, which is not what I'm showing right here. Give me a sec. Bam! NewChallenger.gg. Head over to NewChallenger.gg if you are interested in getting good in either Street Fighter V or Injustice 2. It is a large and active community full of players, coaches, teams that are all here to help you get better. If you go to their Twitter, New Challenger TV, they can hook you up with all the greatest, tips, tricks. And if you go to their Twitch page, they have weekly content where, some of the people, they go over different videos and reviews and critique fighters. So it's a great place to, build a foundation, I would say. So head on over to New Challenger. I can't speak today. NewChallenger.gg and let them know that TrueSonic sent you. Those are our homies over there. And shouts out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the Discord channel, and a big shout out to Mount Lover, who is our personal friend and a coach and commentator for the Street Fighter V bi-weekly tournament. That is NewChallenger.gg. Some awesome guys over there. Very awesome guys. But now it is time for us to get into E3.
The nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty indeed. So there was a lot to talk about, but I didn't hear a lot of people talking about our first topic, which was the PC gaming show. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I caught the I just picked up the video off of YouTube. I watched it from there. They have some interesting stuff. Right now, one of the biggest games on PC is PlayerUnknown. PlayerUnknown Battleground, I think it's called. Okay. And it's like it's a survival game. You put 100 people in the map, and the last person alive wins, type of thing. I guess it's been an extended beta. I'm not too sure. But they are adding to it. Coming up, they're adding something the community's been asking for, which is weather, climbing, and vaulting. And I just find it odd that in this type of game, how can you not climb or vault?
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
wait a minute.
I remember seeing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds at the Xbox conference. They showed off that it was going to be brought to Xbox One with like X support is what I'm going to call it. And yeah, that's weird. That's weird that they don't have vaulting or climbing
in this type of game, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can understand weather, but the vaulting and climbing thing is odd. But yeah, it's coming. Players are excited about it because again, it's something they've been asking for a long time. So they're getting that now. That's cool. And
can we get some weather, please? Like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was more of the climbing and vaulting is what they were looking for.
Okay.
And so they're getting that, and that's good for them.
Yeah, good for them. It's a game, and it's a genre of gaming that I have absolutely no interest in. It seems like it's just the next one in the natural cycle of these games. Like you have like your H1Z1 or whatever, and that's popular for a while, and then you have, whatever else comes out next. This just seems like the next one, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like there's any more polish to this game versus the ones we mentioned before. Yeah.
Right. But
so,
like I said, that's the big deal. That's what I saw in the comments in the video, and all of the news surrounding is getting the climbing and vaulting more than anything is something they wanted, and it's a big deal.
Okay. What else do we get from the PC show?
XCOM 2, and XCOM 2 is also available on consoles, but I mean it's more of a PC game, turn-based strategy. But they're getting a huge expansion. In fact, listening to the developers, the expansion is so huge that they were thinking about making it its own game.
Wow.
So it's supposed to be that big, and I actually, because it's at E3, it's on sale on Xbox Live for like $30, the $37.50 for the game with all the expansions, all the DLC. And I've liked these turn-based games. My brother's been telling me to get it for a long time. But so I got it. I played it for a couple of hours. I actually like it. It's super involved. It's one of those games where you got to sit down and seriously play it without much interruptions. But yeah, I like it, and it's coming out with this big expansion, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really been a fan of like the strategy genre at all. Like, I've never really been a huge fan of it, but I've seen people play it, and it seems very very fun. It seems like very involved. Like, you're very involved in everything that's going on.
It's very technical. You got to know your strategies. One interesting thing about this game is when you take you get your recruits, if they die, they're dead.
Yeah, they're gone.
You're not getting them back. So you level up somebody and you let him die, you got to start all over with somebody else.
Yeah, rest in peace, my boy. You got to or build somebody else up to that level or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild. And not a lot of games like punish you for dying like that.
Right.
And I'm happy because I could deal.
Right. It just adds that extra layer of strategy, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm actually interested in it when it comes out. I think it's coming out in December. Sometime this I have a fall or winter coming up. It's not like right around the block.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm interested in it when it does come out, and that's another big one, and it's another big PC game. Oh, actually, August 29th.
August 29th.
December. Yeah, so it's a couple of months. So yeah, there's that.
What else we got?
Something that a lot of people have been asking for apparently is Age of Empires. Age of Empires is a RTS, real-time strategy. Think World of Warcraft, Command and Conquer type game. Actually, yeah. With level progression. So you'll start as like low up, and the more materials and stuff and research you build, you move up into the you move up into the, I forgot what they call it, the epochs, I think is what they call it. But you move up to basically you build, your technology advances.
Okay.
But it's an RTS game. They're celebrating the 20th anniversary. It's not a new game. It's basically a re-release.
It's the definitive edition, yeah.
Right. It's remastered, re-released. They got new graphics, updated graphics. It looks really, really nice.
Well, yeah, it looks nice compared to the original, yeah. Because the original
is 20 years old.
Bunch of pixels running around.
Right. But yeah, that's interesting. That's another game. Again, I used to be a big PC gamer, and these are the games I played. I played MMOs, I played RTS games, I played turn-based strategy games. This is the stuff I played. So, yeah, I mean, this brings back some fond memories of me sitting face first into a monitor for 6 hours.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't even know that Microsoft Studios owned this property.
It's always been Microsoft. That's theirs.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
This Age of Empires has always been Microsoft. The other one that was competing with this was Empire.
Okay. See, I get them mixed up.
What's it called? Empire of... I can't remember what it was called now, but it started Empire. Okay. Empire something. I forgot what it was. But I had them all. I had that. I had World of Warcraft. I had this. I had Civ. I mean, I played all of those games.
Wow. Yeah, never got into any of those. I would never really call myself a PC gamer, like, at all. Like even games that I get on PC, I play them like I'm playing on console with an Xbox controller and everything.
Right.
So I'm not a keyboard and mouse type guy.
Yeah. What started turning me again was the online. I mean, I had PlayStation 2, I had PlayStation 1, I played Final Fantasy, but those weren't my primary. I primarily played on PC, which got me to flip is when we got broadband and online for the consoles. That got me to flip to the console.
Right.
From PC. But yeah, these games, XCOM 2 and Age of Empires, they kind of bring back memories from my PC gaming days.
That's cool. That is cool. So we have one more story or like highlight from the PC gaming show. So what else we got?
We got Alienware. Alienware, everybody knows Alienware is actually owned by Dell now. They're upgrading their what do they call it? The Alienware Area 51.
Okay.
Yeah, the Area 51 desktop. They're upgrading it to add support for Threadripper and Skylake processors. AMD's Threadripper, Intel Skylake, which are the current processors being released by AMD and Intel. So that's going to be the latest and greatest. But they're adding something new. They've, for the first time, have accessories, keyboard and mouse. They have 2 mice and 2 keyboards. The mice start at $49. They have the requisite DPI switching and ergonomics. The keyboards are mechanical keyboards, spring-loaded keys, anti-ghost and macro support standard. And then there's a new 24.5-inch monitor with full 1080. Is a 1080p monitor, but the response time is 1 millisecond. Is 240 hertz refresh rate. That starts at $249. So
that's not expensive for that quality of a monitor.
Right, 25-inch basically a 25-inch monitor for $500, 1080p. But there's a couple. It starts at $500. I think it goes all the way up to $900. It's either $800 or $900, $799 and $899.
Okay.
There's different levels, but yeah, those are some of the highlights out of the PC. Again, we're not huge PC gamers.
Right.
We need Mount Love on the show to really go through all of the PC stuff. But I thought it was worth bringing up.
Yeah. I mean, not a lot of people even paid any attention to it. Like I paid absolutely no attention to it. I totally missed out on it. It's primarily because of how boring last year's and the year before that, I believe, their PC showcase was. I was like, I'm just gonna avoid that. Plus, I was at work, I think. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna close out our story on the PC gaming show, and we're gonna move on to our good old friends Nintendo.
Who likes Nintendo here?
Raise your hands if you like Nintendo. I think they're okay. Because they actually came out with some freaking announcements, dude.
Yeah, they came hard.
They came hard. Came pretty hard for what people thought they were gonna talk about, which was nothing because they didn't announce that they were gonna be talking about much.
Right. They actually
they brought the heat.
They downplay E3 coming in.
Oh my god,
we're not going to have much at E3 this year. We're just going to have. We're not going to do a press conference. We're just going to show some stuff and let people play the Switch the day after.
Right, but they did a lot more than that. And the first announcement that we're going to talk about was Metroid Prime 4, which they announced is currently in development.
Right.
Now, what I can say that this is not being developed by the same studio that did the original trilogy. It is not Retro Studios. It is a new studio. I don't know if they released the name or who they are, but dude, this is crazy. Like it blew a lot of people away. It blew me away.
Right. It was definitely a huge surprise. That was one of the biggest things that come out of the E3 overall. It's like Nintendo has a new Metroid Prime coming out.
Right. Yeah.
Nintendo killed it just because if they had the Metroid Prime is the stories I've been reading.
Right. And even if that wasn't enough, they also announced a 3DS Metroid game, which is a remake of Metroid 2 that was originally a Game Boy title. So I remember a little while ago, we actually talked about a fan game that I played it. It's called Metroid AM2R, another Metroid,
M2, right.
another Metroid 2 remake. and they received a cease and desist from Nintendo.
Yep.
So now it kind of all makes sense because they
right.
were actually doing that.
Right, they're making their own. That's right.
They're making their own. So
that exactly, that makes sense. Anytime you start seeing these cease and desist letters, it can clue you in onto something that's coming up from these companies that's sending them out. Just like when Take-Two sent out the cease and desist to the group that was building the Red Dead and GTA.
Right.
So,
yeah, because they was about to announce Red Dead.
Right.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool. I've been a fan from afar of the Metroid Prime series. I own the trilogy collection for the Wii U. I have not beaten it yet. I need to. I've beaten 1. I need to go back and beat 2 and 3. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I mean, another Metroid game. Like, who can be mad about that? Not this guy.
Yeah.
And then we're getting 2. Like, Jesus Christ, 2 Metroid games?
2 Metroid games, yep.
That's crazy. That
was the start of it. So what's the next one?
The next one, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, was also announced. Now, this is another game that I played. I enjoyed it. Was not able to beat it, and I feel really bad about it because it's really good. And then they also came out with the Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. So yeah, I have quite a backlog I need to tackle before I actually go into this. But yeah, I don't know too much about it. I don't know where it takes place in the story. But dude, if you've ever played Xenoblade, then you already know what's up. You know, it's a vast world, beautiful visuals, and a combat system that is fun. I really do enjoy the combat system. So that's dope. Another awesome announcement from the dudes over at Nintendo. Next up, oh man, this was actually a big surprise too. Fire Emblem Warriors, taking the same approach that they did with the Zelda series and creating what's that series? Dynasty Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, the Dynasty Warriors approach for the Fire Emblem series. Super dope. Like, a lot of people that aren't really into Zelda were totally into Hyrule Warriors. You know, because it's just mindless hack and slash madness.
Right.
And I feel like this is they're gonna reach out to those same people with this, because I'm not a Fire Emblem fan in the slightest.
Right.
But I will pick up Lucina and cut endless like dudes till they're no more. Till they are no more. I will do that. So yeah, this seems pretty cool, and like, kind of like out of nowhere.
Right. Just like we said, they pretended not to have anything. They had some big hitters. With this, you know, everybody who listens to the show know how much I love Nintendo. But
that was a joke, y'all.
This game actually looks really cool. I love the art style. I'm really digging the art style. You know, like I said, I'm going to get a Switch at some point. I'm not in a rush to get one, but definitely this is one I will wind up picking up once I do decide to take that leap.
Yeah. So this is going to be dope. I mean, I plan on getting a Switch at some point in time, but when I do, I will most likely pick this up, because just from playing Smash Brothers, you know, like just about all of the too many Fire Emblem characters in Smash Brothers, but
right.
You know, I've become a fan of those characters, so it will be cool to play as them in another familiar genre, because the Fire Emblems is traditionally a turn-based strategy game, and I don't play those. So that's something else that I'm actually gonna be looking forward to. The next announcement that we have here is that Rocket League was announced for the Switch. I mean, who didn't see that? Who didn't see this coming?
Well, we all knew that was coming. But
go ahead. I'll let you do it.
The surprise with this is that when you buy it on the Switch, you can play your buddy on their Xbox One. So there's cross-platform play with Xbox One right now. That's freaking amazing. And that wasn't the first time we heard about that. We'll talk about that later on. But I mean, when that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's great.
So now the only ones that are just like, sitting out of the freaking big kids table is Sony. They're the only ones that aren't really trying to. They're only ones that's just like holding back progression. With crossplay.
They're the leader. They're the industry leader, and they feel like we're in the lead. We don't need to, right?
That's true.
But at some point, it's going to be to their detriment. It's not today. It's not tomorrow.
No.
But down the road, it's going to be something big that comes out that they're not going to allow, and it's going to cause them a headache.
Yeah, it's going to be some killer app that every console is going to be able to play with everybody,
and they're going to be left out.
Yeah, they're going to be left out of the party unless they decide to do what everybody else is doing.
Right?
Because I don't know, man. I feel like in this day and age, like each game that comes out has its own like very niche, like following.
And there's two things I'm gonna say about it. First, with all of the huge publishers and less the smaller amount of games coming out, those games need longer legs, right?
Yeah.
And for them to have longer legs, you make crossplay, makes it longer legs. So if you just have it on PlayStation and everybody on PlayStation stops playing it, but you still want to play it, you don't have anybody to play with.
Right.
But if you have it on PlayStation, you can play with Xbox and Nintendo and PC. You have that many more people that you have the ability to play with. The game lasts that much longer.
Right.
It's definitely a boon for the developers.
Oh man.
And the second thing is, this is right up Sony's alley, is when you get a game that has cross network play, your exclusives become that much more important.
Right.
Because I can play with all my friends. If I have a PlayStation, I can play with all my friends on Xbox, but still I can get Horizon Zero Dawn, and I can get God of War, and I can get those games that I can't get on Xbox or Nintendo or even on PC.
Right. So it's more of an incentive to just cling to your your PlayStation, because you don't have to go elsewhere to play multi-platform games.
Right. And to play with your friends.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your friend has, you can play with them anyway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I see it as nothing but a misstep on Sony's end to not jump on it, but they are the industry leaders. They're saying, the way they see it, hey, if what we're doing isn't broke, why fix it?
Right. And I hate that BS excuse. Anytime Sony starts talking about security, they lose. They're done.
Yeah.
we want to secure our players in the network. What do you mean? You haven't done that ever.
Yeah. How many lawsuits have we covered on this show? From people not
What didn't they have a whole month in 2014?
Yeah, something like that with the PlayStation 3s. Yeah.
They couldn't. Nobody can get online because they got hacked.
Oh God, yeah, that was bad. That was real bad.
Yeah.
But
moving
on. The last story that we have to show you guys from Nintendo is probably what a lot of people thought was going to be the only story, but it turned out to be much more, and that is Super Mario Odyssey. They showed off a lot more gameplay of the game, a lot more features for the game, and I'm actually really excited for Mario Odyssey. I mean, I was initially, but now it's just like, wow, from what they showed off, and that theme song, man, that theme song is so magical. It's good. It's so good.
I guess. I mean, Mario in the city just makes me sick. I just can't deal with.
But he's not only just in the city. I don't want to show this trailer for too long because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So we're gonna take that off the screen. But I don't think. I mean, it's not only just in the city. There's a lot of different worlds.
There's a lot of different worlds. I don't know. I'm not a big. I just no. I'm sorry. Nintendo. I mean, it looks good. It looks like it could be fun. It's definitely not for me. I find it funny that he can take off his hat now and throw it on stuff and control it, like mind control stuff with your hat.
And I didn't know this, and I don't know where this was explained in the trailer, but apparently, a second player can control like something that's controlled by the hat, and you can be Mario. Like apparently, this game is going to be co-op. I don't know where that was displayed. I did not see that anywhere.
Yeah, it was in a follow-up story afterwards.
Okay.
But you can. It's going to be co-op, and the co-op player will be controlling Mario's hat. I think I've got some technical difficulties here.
Uh-oh.
My screen just went black.
Yeah, you're paused on my end.
Yeah, so let's keep going because I can still hear the audio, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not excited about Mario. I know why a lot of people are, just because it's Mario.
Looks good, dude.
And it does look good, but I'm just not. I mean, with that implemented, maybe if I got my hands on it, I might be more excited over it. But yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I can feel you. I mean, especially if you're not like a platformer type of person, because I'm a platform guy. I grew up on Sonic and Mario games, so like 2017 is like my jam. We're even getting freaking Bubsy is coming back in 2017. So
yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
Who the hell asked for that guy? Not me. Jeez, have you ever played any of the Bubsy games? They're pretty terrible.
Never. I've never played any of them, but hey, I mean, I will say this for Nintendo. This first year Switch lineup is pretty stellar. It's one of the better launch lineups I can remember.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. For the year that it came out, yes, but the initial launch was a little lackluster.
Right.
But coming out of E3, they have like a handful of games that that I'm gonna want to play. You know, a lot that we're probably not gonna see for a while. Like they didn't give us any like release dates or anything for Metroid Prime or anything like that.
Right. But yeah, they have a lot of
works.
Games. I mean, there's some rehashes. I mean, they got their own Skyrim coming. We knew that was coming.
Boo. That shit looks ugly, by the way.
How old is that game? 7 years old now?
Something like that, dude. 7 years old. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, exactly.
Stop releasing Skyrim.
We'll talk about them in a little bit, but no, I'm just because it has amiibo support for the Link model, but he's ugly. He's so ugly. It's so ugly. Oh God.
Oh, whatever.
But yeah, so
yeah.
That was our impressions and opinions on Nintendo at E3. Let us know what you guys think. What you were most excited about from Nintendo. And now we're going to go ahead and move over to the publishers. Oh, hold on. No, we didn't. Oh, yeah. We got Microsoft is down at the bottom. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move into the publisher recap. And first up on the list is EA. Let's talk about EA.
So EA actually threw out something in the gauntlet, a little bit of a gauntlet, where they gave us 2 new IPs. I wasn't expecting. Very shocking. Yeah, I wasn't expecting either one of these. I didn't. But yeah, they gave us 2 new IPs. Anthem, which is the first one. It looks promising. And
oops. You said Anthem, but I had the wrong one up.
Yeah, because I said it out of order.
Okay. So yeah, A Way Out.
A Way Out is what I supposed to. I skipped one. I'm sorry, guys. So A Way Out was the first one that they released, and it's about 2 guys that's breaking out of prison, basically.
Yeah. It's yeah. Go ahead. I think we're about to say the same thing.
No, maybe I don't know. It's from the guys that made Brothers.
Yep, I was about to say.
Yep, and it looks actually interesting. Something that's actually different. Again, different for a change. I mean, we've been praising Ubisoft for trying new stuff, and hey, EA's come out and trying something new. I kind of like it.
No, I'm kind of excited about this because it brings back the incentive for couch-based co-op because it's a split screen game, and I believe even if you're playing it online, it's a split screen game. I believe that's what I heard.
It seemed like it, right?
Yeah. And you're these 2 guys. You're trying to break out of prison, and it's kind of like when you're separated, you're playing individual like campaigns.
Yep, separate games. Yeah,
and then like it just kind of comes together when you meet up. And so it looks very interesting. I own the Brothers title. I think it was a free game for gold 1 month.
I have it as well.
Yeah, I do. But I played it. Never beat it, but it definitely seems kind of like the next progression in that type of like cooperative gameplay.
Right.
Because that's what Brothers was all about, like using the two brothers to like complete different tasks and puzzles.
Complete puzzle completion. Yeah, it actually was a pretty fun game. I wanted to play it by myself. I probably would have enjoyed it more if I had somebody to play with. Because when you play it by yourself, you have to control.
Yeah, you got to control them both with like each thumbstick. I didn't really like the control scheme that much.
Right, the left control stick was one, and the right control stick was the other. But yeah, this game looks interesting. I'm a bit excited about it. And again, I'm always happy to see new IPs.
Yeah,
somebody trying something new. I like that.
Yeah, same here. And what was the other new IP?
I jumped the boat on this Anthem. This from BioWare. Oh my gosh, this game is amazing.
Yes, it does. It does.
And it's
go ahead.
It's using the Frostbite engine, so I'm hoping that it has the environmental damage. Like Frostbite is what Battlefield's based off of.
Right.
So that's how you get all of the buildings and stuff knocked down and stuff. But man, this game is.
It looks beautiful, and they actually showed off gameplay during the Xbox conference that we'll talk a little bit more about down the line. But at the E3 showing, they kind of just showed us the teaser trailer.
Right.
And what I liked the most about it was how it made me think of a certain play style, but then once we saw the gameplay, it reminded me of something else. So it reminded me of two very good games, kind of like mixed into one. Like initially, I thought it was more of a linear, adventure, kind of like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Right.
But once more information came out, it turns out that it's going to be like not just a co-op game, but a 4-player game. And you're just in this massive world with these mechs, and you have like different classes and all types of stuff. It just looks amazing, and it's definitely a must buy for me, and a freaking good start for EA jumping out of their comfort zone, man. Because not just one but two new IPs like right off the gate. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I was excited to see that. I'm really interested. You know how everybody who listens to us knows how much of a fan I am of Destiny. I like that game. I like that game style. I like this is a similar, like basically loot and shoot, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely a different vibe and a different.
It seems more open than Destiny.
Right. So
it's just the environments. It looks so beautiful.
Right. And then when I watched it, when they showed it off on Microsoft stage, I was watching it in 4K, and man, oh my goodness, they're pretty.
Yeah, it looks good. And 4-player co-op, freaking count me in, dude.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
What else came out of EA?
You got what's next? We got Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out.
Standard affair.
Yeah, standard affair. We all knew that was coming out, but they are adding the story mode. Thank goodness. I don't know why they released the last one without a story mode. That was quite silly in my opinion.
Because it was a competitive shooter, man. That's why.
But yeah, so that's coming. Then they did Middle Earth. Oh my goodness, that's another one that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, Middle Earth looks dope.
Yes,
like I was a fan of the original Shadow of Mordor. So this one, like this is just a must buy for me. Like already.
Got it. I mean, yeah, it looks good. I have the original Shadow of Mordor. I got probably maybe 1/5 of a way through it, and I think I started playing something else because I bought it late. I just bought it just recently. It was on sale. I think it was like right before the fall releases. All the stuff came out in the fall, and I put it down and started playing something else. But
dude, I got that thing at launch, and that game has been one of the only games that can just get me hyped, dude. I got hyped up playing that game, and I just love the interaction with the enemy characters because they remember you. Like if you defeat somebody and you run into them again, they will remember. Like, yo, you did this to me. Now I'm back to mess you up. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll still have the battle damage and the scars, and it looks like they're gonna take that and go even further with it, which is amazing. I love that. I love that no interaction with an NPC is the same.
That makes it fun. It's a good game. If you haven't played it, go out and try with Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, Shadow of Mordor. Go out and play it because it is a great game. It was definitely a bit under the radar. It got kind of like buried with some other bigger releases that came out, but it's definitely a good game. And this Shadow of War game, man, oh my gosh, when they showed them the orcs at the bottom of that thing, at the bottom of that keep, and he was translating what the guy was saying. That was awesome. And then, of course, you got your standard fare. You got FIFA, you got Madden, and we got NBA Live, maybe.
NBA Live?
Maybe not. I don't know. Because they keep saying, yeah, NBA Live is coming. Then they say, oh, it's canceled. Oh, it's coming. It's canceled. I mean, there hasn't been an NBA Live since that Andrew Bynum demo debacle.
Right.
I think that was like 4 years ago now, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, they have a new NBA Live coming that actually looks it has some potential. It looks like it has some potential.
It has potential. We talked about this last week because we did bring up the EA press conference. They have certain elements to it that can appeal to somebody that's not necessarily a huge fan of basketball simulators.
Right.
Because with the campaign mode or story mode that they're introducing, you'll be able to take more than just like, okay, you're a college basketball player and then you go into the NBA. Like this one, you'll be able to either go into the NBA or go into like a street basketball league,
right,
and play at some of like the iconic, basketball courts around the world that got their got really really high acclaim. They're popular in their own right, but I feel like a lot of that stuff wasn't known to the masses, and it was things like games like the NBA Street that brought more attention to those scenes. That's kind of where, at least for me, I had never been to New York, so hearing something like Rucker Park, it didn't really mean much to me.
Yeah, the Ruck.
Yeah.
I've been down there.
Yeah, playing at the Ruck. Oh yeah, I've actually played there. It was entertaining. Yeah.
Those guys are serious down there.
Yeah, shake your ass right up.
Oh yeah, man. I used to go down there every now and then. I've only been down there a few times.
Same here.
But yeah, it looks promising. Yeah, I would like to see some competition because I think NBA 2K is falling into that Madden trap where they're the only game on the block and they're not doing anything really different or interested anymore.
Right. Yeah. So and I also like that they give you options. Like the more gameplay options in a simulator, the better. The better. Just playing in the NBA, that's getting stale, and I feel like all of the sports games, the sports sims, are taking this similar approach where they want you to be able to engage and play more than just online matches or whatever. They want you to play the game for more than just an online match.
They're adding that RPG.
The RPG element.
Because the MLB The Show has it. 2K has had it. 2K Basketball's had it for years now. Mm-hmm. I think this is like the third or fourth year they've actually had like a scripted. What do we call it? Campaign, my player campaign.
Right.
Madden is now adding it. FIFA has it now. They added it in 2017. So that seems to be all the rage, and people seem to like it. I actually like those modes more than just like you said, going online, playing like a random season with the Knicks or the Giants, and then going online playing with people. I kind of like carrying a character through a story, a sports story. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it has helps you engage with the game more. It kind of just like feel for the character, and I feel like FIFA is even taking it an even further route and not allowing you to use a custom character, but use a fictional character that has a progressive story that goes across multiple games. So like FIFA 18 will continue the story of FIFA 17. Mm-hmm. That main character, I don't remember his name, but and I said that I said this in the previous episode, that it's smart on them because anybody that buys 18 will not have the full story unless they go back and buy a used 17. Copy of 17 for $5 at GameStop.
Well,
that's how much it's going to cost.
We FIFA players. I mean, I play FIFA. You wouldn't.
Yeah. You mentioned it as well. That anybody
that plays FIFA gets all of FIFA every year, just like the Madden heads. They get Madden every year. People get FIFA every year.
Yeah, but you gotta feel that every year can be somebody's first year.
Right, that's true.
And if they can get somebody to go back and buy the previous year,
good on them.
Good on them.
I like it because it gives you a reason to buy the next one, because there's not much more you can do in these sports games that's going to make it compelling to go buy 18 and to go buy 19 and to go buy 20. But when you make a progressive solo campaign like they're doing, that's going to compel you to buy the next year's version.
Right. Because you want to continue the story.
You want to continue the story, exactly.
Yeah. So good on them for that. I really feel like everybody else is going to follow suit eventually.
Yep.
Because the creator character, that's been done for
Ad
years
nauseum.
now. Ad nauseum. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next publisher, and now we are discussing Bethesda.
And before we start, I gotta tell a Twitter joke.
Go ahead.
I can't remember. I wish I would have saved it, but there's a joke on Twitter that went around it, and it basically said the Bethesda developers have been MIA for the past 5 years, and the janitor keeps releasing new versions of Fallout 4 and Skyrim.
That's pretty much all we got from Bethesda. I mean, there was a couple of sneak surprises that we'll talk about here, but
I mean, yeah. So
initially, their entire conference was all about Fallout 4 and Skyrim.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's pretty much it. So starting off, Bethesda, they did their VR, their requisite VR. They have Doom coming out for VR, and Fallout 4 coming to VR. I mean, both of them are first-person shooters. It's not hard to make a first-person shooter VR. I mean, you're looking through the main character's eyes anyway. You just have to add some more VR controls and maybe allow me to look around a little more with my head, with the head tracking systems. But and
freaking Doom was like one of the first VR games, like ever.
Right.
And now they're bringing it to current generation.
Yeah, current VR. I mean, I think from my understanding, it's all of them, PSVR included. So
okay.
So there you have that. I mean,
and wow, and just to bring up another point, Bethesda seemed to be the only ones that were really even focused on VR for most of E3.
No, there were some other people that
not nearly as much though.
Let me take it back. There was somebody else that had big VR presence, but there's Sony, and that's because they have the hardware. Right. So yeah,
and I feel like they barely went into it, not nearly as hard as they did last year.
Sony had an interesting press conference. We'll get into what they did.
We'll get into it.
But so there's that. Then Bethesda also brought up another game that's been out. It's a standalone expansion for Dishonored 2. So we have that coming. It actually looks interesting, especially if you're a Dishonored fan. It's probably something you're going to be wanting to get.
Right. Yeah. And Mount Lover, he was actually because he's a huge Dishonored fan. So when he heard about like where this takes place in the story, he immediately knew where it was going. But it looks interesting. It looks like a cool game. I played the first one. Didn't have any problems with it. It's just not my style. It's super stealthy. I feel like you have the most fun when you're not getting caught. And I'm bad at not getting caught. Very, very bad.
Yeah, so that's the same thing with me. I'm not a huge fan of the games that are super heavy. I can do some stealth missions and there's some stealth implementation, but if it's the game punishes
the core gameplay,
yeah, if it punishes you for not being stealthy, I'm not going to enjoy it, because just like you, I'm balls out shooting you in your face.
Yeah. Like I'm running and gunning, dude.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all I do. I play too much Gears of War, man. Ain't no stealth in Gears.
No stealth.
Yeah,
you just undercover stealth from those bullets.
Right. Hide behind that chest high cover.
Yeah.
No, but it looks interesting. I feel like a lot of companies are going with this standalone expansion instead of story DLC.
Yeah, I have something to say about that. So my feeling on this is that these companies are becoming cheaper, and by that I mean this could easily be an expansion, and it could be an expansion for $15, right, or even $20.
Right.
but the company wants more than $15 or $20 for the game for that expansion.
Yeah.
And they know they can't say, oh, we got an expansion for $35 or we got an expansion for $40. They know they can't do that. So now, instead of saying it's an expansion, they say, oh, this is a standalone extension of the original game. It's bullshit. It's just an expansion that you're charging me more money for.
It's story DLC.
Right.
You're just charging me damn near double for it.
Right. It's just another way that these companies are squeezing us, squeezing gamers. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's disappointing. But I mean, if they get a reaction where they sell a lot of them, they're going to keep doing it.
Yep, they're gonna keep doing it. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now we're gonna move into a sequel territory because the next game that they announced is something that I'm actually excited for, surprisingly, and that is The Evil Within 2. I'm actually really excited about this because I was a huge fan of the original game. I played through the entire game over on my gameplay channel, and I loved it. I loved this game. It was like the perfect mixture of horror and action. It's kind of like if Resident Evil 5 was actually a scary game.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I haven't played Evil Within. I'm like I've said many a times, horror games and me don't get along. Mm-hmm. So the Evil Within, just the title, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be scared of that.
No.
I didn't bother with it.
And I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but this game scared the original scared the goddamn hell out of me. It scared the living hell out of me. And it's crazy because me and my girlfriend, she would watch me play. So it was kind of like both of us were just like experiencing the game at the same time. Uh-huh. And I think it was the way that I played it that made it better for me personally. Like it was during a time where I was working very late hours. Mm-hmm. Like working on like a late shift, so I would get home at like 10:30 at night, and then I would stream till like 4 in the morning. Oh wow! So that's where I found a huge amount of my Twitch following from playing that game, and because like I couldn't stay up all night, I would play one chapter, and then I wouldn't play the next one until the next day. So
the next stream, right.
Every single day when I got back on the game, I was already, I wasn't like used to being scared anymore. Like I never really got used to the horror.
Right.
So I feel like that was like the best way to experience the game because, after experiencing anything for, a certain amount of time, you just become like used to it. You get accustomed to it.
Right.
But Evil Within, I can't say enough about it. I was a huge fan, and it didn't seem like everybody else shared my enthusiasm about it because like it didn't get the best reviews, and I'm not sure if it sold the best, but this is coming from the directors is the one behind the original Resident Evil trilogy, so he knows horror. He knows his horror. Yeah, he knows his horror, and for Bethesda to give him a second shot at this means that they are really hoping for something special. And I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy Evil Within 2.
And it's coming out on Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
October 13th. Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So
spooky, scary.
It looks good. It looks compelling. But again, I'm a punk. I'm not playing it. I'm sorry.
No, don't get me wrong. Okay. It was a fair share of. I'm not gonna say I screamed, but I may or may not have yelped at a high pitch. I don't know. Call it what you want.
I may or may not have yelped. That's all.
Yeah. The next sequel I keep on clicking on the wrong freaking screen. The next sequel that was brought up during the Bethesda conference was Wolfenstein.
And Wolfenstein was actually a game that went under the radar. Everybody that's played it said it was really good. Mm-hmm. They really enjoyed it, but I don't think it did well commercially.
It came out during a time where there wasn't a whole lot to play, honestly. Right. It was very early in the Xbox One.
It was 2015 winter.
Yeah, so it was. I think it was it may have even been a launch title. I know it was the first game that I got for the system. When I got the system, I got Wolfenstein. That was the only game that I had. I didn't bring myself to beat it. I think I actually got stuck. I was like, man, this is hard, man. I was just stuck in a very awkward position, and I couldn't get myself out. So, but no, yeah, definitely not a bad game. Just I got stuck, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I just let it go and picked up something else. But I don't know. It looks cool. I don't know if it's something that I'm gonna pick up personally. I wasn't really into like the original Wolfenstein series, or for that matter, any of the id Software games. I wasn't a huge fan because those were early console games. Right. I mean, early PC games. Yeah. So I've never really been a huge fan of those, like the Doom, Wolfenstein, stuff like that.
So I played it, but I always felt like, because I think the original Wolfenstein 3D came out before Doom. Yeah. But once Doom came out, Wolfenstein 3D just kind of it felt like a cheap knockoff. Even though it was supposedly, it's not aliens, it's Nazis, what have you. But it's just, you played Doom, you didn't play Wolfenstein. That's just the way it was, right? And I just never ever went back to it ever. And when it came out for Xbox, the first version, I had no interest. And just like you said, I don't know. It's highly unlikely I get this. It's another first-person shooter. Yeah. It's super brutal. I like the brutality, but
might be something that both of us just pass on.
Yeah. It doesn't tickle my fancy.
Yeah. Right. What was next? What else did they talk about?
We got the Quake Champions. And not only did they, everybody knows Quake Champions is coming out. It's not quite out yet. No. But they announced the $1 million Quake Champions tournament. So once it comes out, I think the open beta is out, or the beta is up.
Yeah, the beta's been out for quite some time.
So I mean, you might as well jump onto that beta. Buy the game as soon as it comes out, because there is going to be a league and championship series with $1 million in prize money, and the $1 million is across all regions. It's not just $1 million in North America. It's across. I think they'll be doing it in North America, Europe, and Asia, the Asia Pac. So, look forward to that coming out. I mean, I felt that this was inevitable. That Quake would be an esports or e-league game, because it's Quake, actually it's Quake. It is one of the original esports games.
Yeah, one of the original like arena shooters.
Right. So I mean, it's quite.
It's built for it.
It's built for it, and it's expected that it would be, especially now with esports going the way they are. It's
being so freaking prominent, and Quake just has so much history behind it. And I haven't heard much about Quake championship, but it's Quake. I actually played Quake Arena when that was a thing back when I was in like middle school. I played Quake Arena a lot. Okay. So I have a little bit of history with it, but it was another one of those primarily PC games that I just never really got into.
I remember my big experience with Quake. I played a little bit on PC, but it was a Dreamcast version.
Oh, okay.
And me and my friends, we used to get on the 4-player split screen. I remember because we had the big in my apartment. We had the big rear projection TV. We used to play it on.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that we spent some nights on that. Get a couple of drinks, play some Quake.
Okay, crack open a few cold ones with the boys. I feel you.
Yep, that was it. But yeah, there's that. Moving on, we touched on this a little bit earlier, but we're going to talk about it now. The janitor released another version of Skyrim. So Skyrim is coming to the Switch. We all knew that.
Of course.
I think, did they announce it at the Nintendo Direct when they announced the Switch? I think they did.
Yeah, they showed it, but then like Bethesda kind of like denied it. We're like, boy, like they wouldn't put it in there if it wasn't coming out. Get out of here.
And the thing about this, and you touched on it earlier, that it comes with amiibo support for Link. So now you got Link in Skyrim.
You get to play as a Link style model. Just leave it in the first person view, because he looks terrible. Just leave it in first person view, and then you'll be able to just see the Master Sword in game. Right. Because the character model is ugly. He is ugly.
Well, the game is 7 years old.
Yeah, it's old.
Right,
It's
and
just the more I keep seeing it, and it's just proving that it's starting to age. It's aging.
yeah, it's well aged. It aged.
Yeah, yeah. That thing's like a fine, almost spoiled wine. Like you need to go ahead and drink that and stop playing.
And another thing that they showed off is the Joy-Cons. There's added motion control, so you can just swing the Joy-Con and put it up for your shield. And I guess that's cool if that's what you want to do.
HD Rumble boys, I feel you.
Yeah, HD Rumble. But yeah, that was that. And then the last Bethesda announcement was the Creation Clubs. It's the Creation Club for Skyrim and Fallout 4. So basically, it's modders. It's like a storefront for modders. So if you want to make mods for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, you can get into this Creation Club. I think they will be what do you call it? My brain just froze. You know, they'll be looking at the mods and picking and highlighting the ones that are good.
Right.
And not every mod is going to make it into this Creation Club. It's for the best of the best type guys that's making actual quality content, which is cool.
Yeah. So I expect to see the Macho Man Randy Savage mod in Skyrim. It basically it turns all of the dragons into Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious.
I've heard about that. That's awesome. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's cool when you can involve the community and officially involve the community. So when they actually put in the work to do something, they have a chance to get paid, and they know their work won't get shut down. Which is cool.
Yeah, go by it the right way, or there's a chance that not only will it get shut down, but you can get in trouble. So
right.
Just go about it the right way, man. Stop modding GTA.
Stop modding GTA. Yeah. Stop making Nintendo fan games.
Yeah, stop it. All right, and then so that was it from Bethesda. We are just about halfway done. There's a lot more to read.
There's a little more.
There's a little more that we need to talk about, but let's go ahead and just keep on trucking. We're gonna power through this. Next up on the list is Ubisoft. And in my personal opinion, Ubisoft may have won E3.
I can't disagree with that because they brought the big guns.
They bought the guns, man. They bought the guns.
Okay. So they started with one that we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show, right? Because it was leaked. And it was like a huge leak with significant details. It was so many details that
it was no way it
could be fake, right?
It was no way that it could be fake. Yeah.
Right. So the Mario Rabbids game was confirmed officially, and this is a Mario game I can actually get behind because what it is, it's an RTS. I mean, not RTS, turn-based strategy game. Basically, the rabbits get into Mario Kingdom and hilarity ensues.
Pretty much.
But it's a turn-based strategy game. Think Final Fantasy. Think XCOM that we talked about.
Yep.
That we talked about earlier. But you're using Mario characters and some rabbits.
Dressed as Mario characters.
Yeah, dressed as Mario characters. It's funny because it's got one of them is dressed as Luigi and one of them is dressed as Princess Peach.
Right.
But yeah, it actually looks kind of cool.
It looks cool. I really like the art style that they went with.
Yeah.
And it creates I don't know, it creates a situation where you're getting into a genre that you may not be necessarily interested in, but it's got that Nintendo feel. So it's like it's super simplified. They make it fun, they make it flashy, and it looks like it could be a good time. And I mentioned earlier in the show that I've never really been super into turn-based strategy games, but this looks like not only something that I can play, but something that anybody can play.
Right. This looks like the game that this is like that entry drug, right?
Right.
It's the game that you went to something more complicated. Because like I said, it's a Nintendo game, so it's not going to be overly complicated. It's going to be fairly simple controls, pretty simple and straightforward, but it can get you first off like, oh, well, I do like this type of game, and you can move on and into something better, or something more complicated, something different, not necessarily better. But again, I've been a turn-based strategy. One of my favorite games of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics, which is the same type of game. And yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks really cool. It looks cool. And this is what I believe that Ubisoft. I remember a couple of months. I think it was around Christmas time. It was before the Switch Direct. The CEO of Ubisoft came out and said, "Oh, Nintendo Switch is. I'm so excited to be working on it."
Well, I think what they were referring to.
This is why he was excited, because how many times in history has a third party been able to work with Mario in this way?
It's only been
just a few.
Yeah, Sega, pretty much.
Yeah, with the Sonic
crossovers.
Yeah,
and so they're extending their hand to Ubisoft. I really feel like Nintendo and Ubisoft have had a fairly solid relationship over the years. With the exclusive Rayman games, tons of exclusive Rabbit like party games on the original Wii. Yeah, so this almost seems like a match made in heaven, man.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And if you saw the conference, like, yo, they were super proud of this. Like the dude was in the audience, like shedding tears. Like, I'm so happy about this game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, damn.
I mean, it looks like it looks like it can be a very good game. It looks like it can be a great game. Again, I'm not a Nintendo fan. I'm resisting the Switch, but I will get one. This is another
resist the Switch.
This is when I do get one. This is another game that will be on the list for me to add to the collection for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What else do we have from Ubisoft? What else they got?
Oh boy! My Assassin's Creed, man.
Assassin's Creed Origins. Yes. After taking an entire year off from the franchise to reassess, what they have been doing, they are coming back in fantastic fashion.
Much needed rest.
Yeah, I really feel like it has been, because I've been always playing the games like kind of late. Like I actually caught up with the series right as Assassin's Creed, the bad one. What was the bad one called? Unity.
Yeah,
I had binge played like the entire series minus Assassin's Creed 1 up until the release of Unity, and then like I hated Unity.
Yeah, so Unity it was a broken mess. I that got me off of it. I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Unity because the game was broken. I couldn't get anywhere in the game. And I just haven't gone back, but man, I'm on my way back.
Yeah, I'm definitely on my way back. We're going to Egypt, and apparently this is like the beginning, or this is like the beginning of the Assassins guild.
Yeah, this predates all the other games in the series.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, you would like to see them expand on the story, but I really think they need a much needed break from the linear progression that they were going in, so they can go back, they can tell some different stories and visit some different locations.
Right.
I read, or I saw in an interview that out of the two locations that fans wanted most, it was between Egypt and Japan.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I saw that. I like Egypt. The reason I like Egypt is you don't see many games there.
No,
you don't see many things, and it's a beautiful place to go. I'm really excited.
A lot of people's thing is like there's no trees, so what the hell am I going to be climbing on?
Yeah, but
there's no buildings.
there's trees, there's buildings.
I know.
They're talking crazy. But
this is where it's all too much sand. Where am I going to climb?
But yeah, man. I watched the gameplay. Did you watch the gameplay?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Of course I did, man. Bring it into what looks like some new features. Looks like it's gonna
gear is gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, gear, and it's very emphasized on like loot and gear. So it seems like your weapons are gonna have like durability, because like in like defeating enemies, you can actually pick up their weapons, which I believe may be a first for the franchise. I think that's a first. I mean, because you can pick up like a gun. Like if somebody was holding a rifle, you could pick that up and fire it. But then like that was it.
That was it. You couldn't. Yeah, now you can pick it up.
It was never. Yeah, it was never like in your inventory. It was never something that you could like hold and keep it in. Showed up in your inventory. You can upgrade. It was never like that. So this is like and I could be wrong. There could be a specific game that already did that, but for me, this is new.
Yeah, unless it was in Syndicate, I didn't, or Unity, because I didn't play enough of Unity to really figure that out. It hadn't been in previous games where you can add enemy weapons to your inventory.
Right.
Unless it was like I think like some of the boss battles, you can get that weapon, but you put it in like your museum place that you had.
Right.
But yeah, it's man, look,
looks dope. With
great.
the Eagle Scout type mechanic.
Oh yeah, you can use the Eagle as a scout. You got the shotgun. My favorite thing was the shotgun arrows, man. That was also shoot 5 arrows at once. That's amazing.
And I don't know if it's Horizon Zero Dawn. It just got me into being an archer, but like I'm all in with the arrows.
Horizon
I'm all
Zero.
in, dude. And I like how like at the end, like of the gameplay segment, they showed you actually getting the assassination. You shoot the arrow, you kind of like guide it.
Oh yeah,
to hit the target.
Got it. Yeah,
that was pretty tight.
The guided arrow. That's right. Yeah, it's a lot in that game that's new. Some new gameplay mechanics. The loot. The loot now. It is a loot game. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves loot now. Everybody wants loot. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it as long as the durability doesn't like inconvenience me. Right. Then I'll be okay. Like if I have to just always worry about my freaking weapons breaking. But that's not gonna be good for me.
Right. That's not cool.
Because I don't necessarily like having like an entire inventory full of weapons. Like full of like multiple weapons. Like it gets to be a little much. Like right now in Nihon, I am holding like at least 1,000 swords and blades. And it gets to be a little much at times. That's too much loot in Nihon.
Right.
But as long as they don't do anything worse than that, I feel like that's going to be dope. What's the next game they were talking about?
Next game they talked about was The Crew 2. The Crew, if you haven't played it before, it's a racing game. Its premise is like it's online co-op. You can play, or you basically like a gang. Think Fast and Furious, right?
Right.
You're a racing gang. And The Crew 2 ups the ante because not only are you racing cars, you're racing dirt bikes, motorcycles, boats, and planes.
Right.
So all they're missing are trains.
Has anybody ever raced a train before?
I don't know.
That's crazy. That sounds very dangerous.
I'm sure somebody has somewhere in the history of man, but
yeah.
The game, it looks really cool.
The game looks dope. The only thing, and the only criticism that I was having is that a lot of people weren't really satisfied with the controls for the original.
Right.
Like it didn't really feel all that good to control the cars. So for them to, branch out from just cars, like, it feels like, okay, instead of like focusing and doubling down on controlling cars, they're kind of just like, going all over the place. You got monster trucks, like all types of vehicles. Go ahead.
The Crew felt to me as if they didn't know whether they wanted to do arcade or simulation. So it was like the way the cars handle is the ill mismatch.
Right.
That matters. It was weird. But yeah, they definitely weren't. The handle definitely wasn't precise. But if they fix that just a little bit, they don't need to do much. It can go somewhere. I mean, it looks interesting. Like I said, they added. I've never played a game. I mean, outside of a game that was made for flying racing, airplane races. I've never played anything like this or seen anything like this attempted. I mean, speedboat racing. I mean, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah. So that was The Crew 2. Let's move on to the next game. What we got?
Okay, we got South Park. They talked a bit about South Park. And man, those little kids got some foul ass mouths,
dude. Like. I mean, I've had the displeasure of watching South Park reruns while I've been at work, and it's these guys are foul, man.
in the trailer, they were dropping the F-bomb. I mean, and it's funny because on stage, the Ubisoft, the guy that I forgot his name, but he got on stage, he dropped the F-bomb.
There's a few people dropping F-bombs. I think I heard some F-bombs in the Bethesda hearing too. So everybody's dropping F-bombs. Like, yo. Right. Where we at? Where we at?
What's going on here, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're a South Park fan, I know people have been dying for this game. This game is coming out finally. It looks like South Park.
It's the exact same art style as the show, as
the cartoon. Yeah.
And in addition to the fractured butt hole, I'm gonna put the pause there, the comma. I like commas. They actually coming out with a mobile game as well called Phone Destroyer.
The Phone Destroyer, yeah, that's coming out.
And that looks like less of a turn based and more of like a card based RPG style.
Right. I don't know. Will I play a phone based if it's free? No, because that means it's microtransactions.
Yeah.
If it's like $4 or $5, I might try it. Highly unlikely. I mean, years ago, like when South Park first was out, I watched it for a while.
I watched it back in the 90s.
But I mean, you kind of grow out of it, and it's not interesting. I'm not interested in anything for South Park right now.
Yeah, and if you played the previous one, like, geez, man, like there are some scenes in that game that are just banned in certain countries. Like you're not putting this on a video game in this country. Sorry, bro.
They try. I feel like sometimes that they just try too hard to shock.
Yeah, they go for shock value, like pretty good. But I mean, on top of that, the gameplay is actually solid from what I've heard. I haven't touched it, but I don't know. It seems. I mean, for the fans of the original or fans of the show, both of these games look like, solid representations of the TV show, and the guys behind it are working close with the developers, so you can't get any better than that.
Yep.
All right, what we got next?
The Steep Olympics.
Steep Olympics.
So Steep is Ubisoft's winter action sports, and Winter Olympics actually next year, 2018. And so they added some Winter Olympic events to it. So that's kind of cool. I mean, if you play Steep, the expansion is coming out in December. Yeah, December 5th. It's showing. And I think it's cool. Anytime you can add and leverage the Olympics into anything, I love watching the Olympics. I love some of the new sports they added, especially on the winter side. It brings some more excitement to it, especially these the extreme winter sports that they brought in, the snowboard, half pipe, and the ski jumps and all that stuff. I love watching that, and it's cool. It'd be cool to play it.
Right. I didn't pick up Steep. Like I kind of like got out of the snowboard, like snow sports games back on the OG Xbox with the SSX series. Yeah. Like that was my jam back in the day, but I haven't really touched those since then. But I did give kudos to Ubisoft for actually coming out with a new IP, and just like with all of their games, they have been very intent on keeping the game updated with fresh and new content. Is this going to be a paid expansion or?
Yes, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't hear whether or not it was. I didn't hear whether or not it was going to be free or not. So that's something that we'll have to figure out.
I'm willing to bet that it's paid just because they had to pay for the licensing, the Olympics license, because they're not going to get that for free. The Olympic committee, what's the IOC, they don't give that out for free.
Okay,
so they probably paid a steep price for it, and they'll probably wind up charging for it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a fan of the game, then you're probably going to want something new. Anyway.
Right, exactly. And there's especially again with the Olympics coming out, people get excited for the Olympics, and when you can play Olympics, especially in something that's established, and by that time it had been a year, so it's decently established, backed by a big company. It's not let's rush out a game for the Olympics to get $60 out of you. I think it's a good deal.
Yeah. So let's keep on trucking. The next game, and this was probably one of the most fascinating reveals that came out of Ubisoft, and I mentioned it in the beginning as my favorite reveal of E3, and that is Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yep. And man, were people freaking excited about this?
Super excited. And it looks good.
It looks good. They didn't show off any kind of like gameplay or anything, but I mean they showed off the CG trailer. They've mentioned during the press conference that it's been 15 years since they were since the release of the original game. I actually own the original game. I never got a chance to beat it. But I mean, it's a fantastic world with some fantastic characters, and even in this game, you know, just the characters, you know, have so much personality. Like the monkey dude, like
Yeah,
that dude. Yeah, yo, he was killing me, yo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks interesting. Like I said, like you said, it's got interesting characters.
Mhm.
It looks just anytime you can have a game that the characters bring you into it, it makes the world more immersive.
Right,
And those are the type of games that I personally enjoy the most.
right. And then you know, because this game, you know, they had tried to develop Good and Evil, Beyond Good and Evil 2 for the 360 a long time ago. And they even I don't know if it was leaked or it was released or whatever, but they had footage. They showed one of the main characters from the previous game, Jade, I believe her name is,
Yep.
you know, running around like chasing somebody in this, like, you know, huge city. You know, but nothing ever came of that. And you know, we mentioned it during the weekly icebreaker that the developer on his Instagram, I think it was like either the creator or the director.
It's like an art director, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it one of the art directors?
Yeah. He released like concept art on his Instagram, you know,
Right.
and everybody, you know, took that. Well, at least I took that as, okay, this was what was supposed to be with
Right.
the initial one. But little do we know that these guys were in the background working
on hard.
you know, a brand new game.
Right.
So I can't wait to see what becomes of it. I'm actually gonna try my best to beat the original. I think it may have been a game for gold. I can't remember if it was a game for gold. I think it may have been.
It may have been, yeah.
A game for gold on the 360, because that's the console that that's what I have it on. It's on the 360, not the Xbox One. So it was either that or it was like an arcade title that you can like download. I can't fully remember. I have to go take a look. But this is something special, man. Because Beyond Good and Evil, it has a cult following, and it's crazy that a game that has only had one title has such a freaking backing.
Right.
And it shows a lot on Ubisoft's end that they're willing to, you know, put forth, you know, faith and money, you know, to make this a possibility, hoping that, you know, it'll sell, because dude, this is risky.
Right, it is risky, but I mean, just from when they showed this, the reaction in the crowd reaction, and just on the internet lost their minds. I mean, this is something people have been clamoring for, been asking for, and the thing is, the way it's been going is people have been asking for it so much for so long and singing its praises that people that knew nothing about it. May not have played the game originally when it first came out, may have just recently went in to go get it and play it, are also involved and also wanting to play this game. And that's I mean, that's good. It's good for them, and that makes it less of a risk, and it makes it exciting.
Yeah,
and
definitely exciting.
One of the things that I saw out there was, you know, everybody was saying, oh, this would be a Switch exclusive. This is not a Switch exclusive. It's definitely a multi-platform.
I didn't hear that, but
well, the one of the rumors when those images were leaked is that it was going to be the Beyond Good and Evil for the Switch, not a sequel, but a remake or HD remastered edition. And then when they got wind of this, the first thing, and people are, well, is it a Switch exclusive? They held on to that narrative, and Ubisoft so much
they didn't deny it.
Yeah, Ubisoft came out and had to say no, this is not a Switch exclusive.
Yeah.
They didn't say it wasn't coming to Switch. They just said it wasn't a Switch exclusive. So
yeah, so
excited. I'm excited about it. It looks good.
Me too. All right, so now let's jump into new IP territory. We're still talking about Ubisoft. If you forgot, you know, because we've been talking about it for a while. So let's go down the list and get these last couple of games. These are all new IPs, mind you. The first on the list is Transference.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. They had kind of like a trippy trailer. This game is being developed by Frodo's. You know Frodo, Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood.
It's being developed by his studio. It looks to be a VR game. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Yeah, it's some kind of VR game. Yeah.
They don't have any dates. I didn't see any gameplay footage, or not much anyway. But yeah, they have a VR game called Transference coming out by Frodo.
Man, that's the guy. That's the guy from Wilford. That's where I know him. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so that's Wilford. What's up next?
The next one. This is the game that got me. Skull and Bones.
Yep, Skull and Bones.
Oh my goodness! When I saw this, my jaw just dropped. One thing is I loved Black Flag, and immediately I thought this is the spiritual successor to that type of gameplay. A pirate game. It's oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's essentially the ship battling from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, just expanded upon and like multiplayer.
Right, it's multiplayer. I mean, there's ship battles. There's different class ships. I think it was a 5-on-5, right? 5-on-5 PvP. It's ship battles. You can board ships. Mm-hmm. I thought when they showed that, that was amazing. When they actually they disabled the ship, they boarded it, and then they added it to their fleet. That's amazing. You can do that. You can ram the ships. It's a beautiful looking game. When they showed they did do a gameplay, and they did a 4K gameplay.
Gameplay showcase, yeah.
Showcase, yeah, and the game looks beautiful. It looks perfect at a time. The thing that's got me in this and some of the other games, the water. They figured out water because
they figured out water.
I mean, everything on this game looks good. I like it. I'm super interested in it. This is definitely a must buy. And just to be known, I did pre-order 2 games already, and it was this and Assassin's Creed.
Okay, I haven't pre-ordered anything yet because I have a couple of months, and I'm kind of trying to allocate money when and where I can. We'll go down and we'll talk about our pre-order list once we get through with all the stories. But what's the next game that they talked about?
The next thing they talked about was Starlink.
Yeah. I don't know what I was watching when I saw this.
It looks like some kind of I don't know. It's like a space battle game, a spaceship game, but it's another toy game.
But yeah, it's like you have those like the toys or whatever. Right. So it looks like Ubisoft is just trying to just like dip their foot into like everything, dude. Because the toy market is kind of just like owned by Skylanders now since since Disney Infinity dropped out. So I don't know. This seems like it could be more catered to a instead of like a young audience, maybe like a young like a teen 20s whatever.
I think it's more like a tween, like a say 10 to 15 year olds or 12 to 15 year olds. I guess an adult.
I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead, buying toys in my house because I'd step on them, man. I'd step on them, I'd break them, and then I'd be angry because then like if I break like the mechanism that allows you to play, then it's a wrap. You got to replace it. Yeah, so. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've never been a fan of the toy games. Hopefully, they come out with a way for you to play it without toys because it actually looks like a cool game.
Right.
Like you're just in a certain class of ship, and you can just like interchange like your weapon parts and your armor parts or whatever. It seems cool, and it kind of seems like what No Man's Sky should have been.
Should have been, yeah.
As far as like exploring like different planets, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I find it odd that the toy mounts on top of the controller.
Yeah, it looks so weird to me. Yeah, this is a Switch game, by the way. Oh, is it multi-platform?
It's multi-plat. It's multi-plat.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work on the Xbox controller.
I don't know. It's odd. Again, like you said.
Oh no, they show it. They show it at the end of the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that I'm definitely not going to be interested in. It looks cool. And it has its audience. That audience does not include me.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks like a cool space shooter. I wish that they didn't go the toy route because then I might actually want to play it. But whatevs.
So that's going to be it for Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's it for Ubisoft. We had a mouthful to say about those guys, and luckily the next company that we talked to didn't show a lot, so we won't have a lot to say. Yeah, Let's go ahead and move on to Activision at E3.
So all they showed was they had, and if this was at the Sony presser, to be quite honest, I don't think Activision had their own presence there. It didn't seem like it anyway.
No, at least I didn't see it. I may have missed it. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, they're two big games. They showed for the first time Call of Duty World War II gameplay, PvP gameplay, and the footage actually looks beautiful. That's the only reason I want to bring it up, because I like pretty. I'm a visual guy.
Yeah.
And it looks great. It's by Sledgehammer. I'm not a big fan of the Sledgehammer developed games at all. But it looks good. It's the standard Call of Duty World War II fast-paced action. Looks like the guy was using the M1A1 in the video. They have bayonets now and flamethrowers and such. I miss Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. I mean, if you're a fan of it, you're most likely going to buy it, and you're going to complain about how it doesn't have all of the features that you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the cycle. Right. You know, they went to the future, and you know, even though that game probably sold a lot, you know, there was a lot of backlash on it, but they still buy it. So it's like, I don't know what Activision has to do to keep people from freaking buying Call of Duty games. It's crazy how much work and how many teams are working on one franchise. I don't think this has ever been a thing where 3 to 4 studios, full-on studios, are working on the same franchise.
One IP.
It's crazy, man. And I honestly feel like it needs to stop.
Yeah, as long as people buy it, they're going to keep doing it. They don't have incentive to stop, because they sell like hotcakes. Even Call of Duty: The Infinite Warfare was disappointing, but it still outsold most every other game that came out that year by tons.
I feel like starting with the Modern Warfare games, they just got that taste of that money. They were like, oh my god, these games sell better than movies. So we're gonna keep it coming. Keep it coming. Yep. And they have not slowed down since then.
Nope,
it's crazy. It's
every year
crazy.
like clockwork.
Yep. So this is the new game, and in 6 months they'll announce the next one.
Yep.
That's a cycle.
That's it. So moving on.
So that was pretty much all that Activision had to offer. Right. They didn't have their own showing, so that was all that they had. So
the only other thing they had was Bungie and Destiny 2, where they showed at Sony's E3 presser, they showed the exclusive content trailer. What they always get. They get a weapon, they get a PvP map, they get a strike. Whoop-de-doo. So moving on.
Next. Microsoft.
So we're going to go head on. This is going to be a big argument. Got my gloves on. Just put those things on. Snap the neck. Stretch out here.
My protective head, eyewear. All right, so let's get into it.
Let's go. So Microsoft, Project Scorpio has a name, and I was wrong, and I'm mad about it, because it's not the Xbox One Elite as it should be. Mm-hmm. It's called the Xbox One X. X as an X-ray is not the S2. It's just X.
Yeah.
Which I guess is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a decent name, and I think, and I saw this in an interview that they chose this name, or maybe they went about it because now the acronym for Xbox One X is Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, XBOX. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty cool. Clever.
Yeah, that is clever. Okay, that makes a little more sense. All right, I'll give you that one, Microsoft. You win. That's a win. if that's what you did, if you did that on purpose.
Yeah, no, I heard it from somebody else. Some other guy mentioned it, but yeah. So they premiered the console. It is the smallest Xbox ever.
Supposedly.
I mean, it's smaller than the One S. And
than the One S, yeah.
The One S is small.
Which is actually pretty amazing, considering all that they packed inside this thing.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a technological wonder. Mm-hmm. I've said it many times. I'm going to get it. It was predetermined. Unless they came out with a ridiculous price. It actually came out closer to the price I thought it would be.
It was either one. It was one or the other. It was either going to be like $350 to $499. Right. I was hoping for more of like a $350 type deal, mm-hmm. I don't know.
It's $499. I was hoping it came in the price. I was personally, I was thinking $399 to $450 is what I thought. I was hoping $399, especially when they dropped the price of the Xbox One S. S as in Sam.
Right.
When they dropped the price of that, I think they dropped it by $50. I thought, oh yeah, they're going to bring it in at $399 to show, so they can have that price difference to show that the Xbox One X is the premium Xbox. But nope, they brought it in at $500.
That to me is too steep. I cannot justify it.
Well, and I understand that.
For me personally.
For you, yeah. And that's what most people are saying. But this is the way I look at it. The Xbox One X is a premium product. I mean, if you look at everything that's in there, it's full 4K, and it's not just kind of 4K like some other system that's out there that's for $400. It is full 4K. 60 frames per second. It definitely can. And on top of that, from what the developer's saying, it can get 4K at 60 frames per second and still has room under the hood. So, I mean, it's more than enough power. And also with its home theater chops, the 4K Blu-ray player, the premium sound codecs, the Dolby Atmos, and all of those uncompressed file formats that it's able to play, 3D, and all everything that's in there for $499. What you essentially are getting is a mid to high end PC for about $500, if you think about it. And I personally think this is. So if you haven't been following, and not just Xbox, Microsoft as a whole, their new CEO, Satya Nadella, his vision is, I want Microsoft, or I want it everywhere. Yeah. I want everything on Microsoft, and I want Microsoft on everything. So they've been doing like all of their business apps, their Microsoft Word and Excel, all their Microsoft products, they put them out everywhere. They have it on iOS, they have it on Android, they have it on Microsoft. But they also want everybody to come to them. And what I see them doing is they're building, again, Xbox as a platform and not a console.
Yeah, so future-proofing.
Yeah, so where the Xbox, you can play your games on Xbox. This speaks to their Play Anywhere deal that they have going on there, where you buy the game in one place and you can play it anywhere. You buy one version for your Xbox, you play it on Xbox, you play it on PC.
Right.
The problem they have with the current Xbox is if a PC game developer is making their game for a higher end PC, it's not going to work on the Xbox.
Yeah, and that's one. Well, I'm gonna let you finish, but yeah, go ahead.
So, and now with the power they have in the Xbox One X, is more likely that those type of games will also be able to be played on the Xbox One. I mean, on the console and the PC as well. So I see this as them pushing into their bigger picture of unifying the PC and the Xbox One platform as one, instead of just Xbox and PC. It's just Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of drawbacks for me personally. One is that without a 4K TV, I am not taking advantage of any of the upgraded specs. I'm not getting the visual fidelity. I'm not getting the uncompressed audio. I'm not getting any of those features without the proper without the proper equipment already in my home.
Right, and they've said as much.
And I remember like a lot of people were like, "What the hell's wrong with you guys?" When they told you like, if you don't have 4K, don't get this. This is not the console for you. And it's holding true. Like the Xbox One X as an X-ray, is not gonna be the console for me, especially coming out at $499, which is the price for a brand new system. You know what I mean? The OG Xbox came out at $499, and this is supposed to be a quote unquote modular upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Because all of the Xbox One games are going to be compatible.
Playable.
To, you can be able to play on either one. So even though I have the OG Xbox One, all of the games that come out, going forward will have to be compatible for Xbox One X. So that begs the question of how much is that system going to be holding back in order to compensate for the OG Xbox One's limited power?
I will say this. I'm looking at, again, the Xbox is based off of a Windows 10 kernel. So it's the same thing with PC games. It's just the settings, right? So your PC, if you have a low-end PC or low-end laptop, and you play Overwatch, you're going to get the low settings. And if you play it on a high-end rig, you're going to get the high settings. Because
but then here's how I think about it. Back in the day, if you didn't have a PC capable, you were not playing Crysis. You weren't playing that game. So I feel like making this a modular upgrade instead of a brand new console is holding back the One X from actually using its full potential. Like they're not going to be able to use its full potential because
I disagree.
I mean, unless the developers are making two versions of the game.
No, you don't have to. They don't make two versions of PC games. Remember, the Xbox is using Windows.
But they do make two versions of the games, one for PC and one for Xbox.
But
one is clearly superior.
This is where you're missing. You're missing a detail. You're missing that Windows 10 is the universal Windows platform. Okay. So you develop one time and it works across all of Windows kernel devices. So you develop one game and theoretically, it's supposed to work on your Windows Phone, your Windows tablet, your Windows laptop, your Windows PC, and the Xbox One. So they don't have to develop in parallel a version for PC and a version for Xbox. They just have to develop a version for Windows. And when they develop this version for Windows, they can tier it low, medium, high graphic fidelity. And that's where they're going with it. This is what they've been pushing. They've been pushing this for like the past 3 years.
Yeah, no, and okay. I agree with what you're saying, but I just have a different outlook on it. Your outlook is, okay, you have low, medium, high settings. The way I'm seeing it is that you clearly have an inferior version that is needed to be compensated for, and it's holding back the fidelity of the higher tier version. Like a game that could possibly be produced on Xbox One X won't be that way because it has to compensate for these lower end versions. It has to compensate. You cannot make a game that is exclusive to Xbox One X, even though that may be something that's possible.
The only compensation I can see is in frame rates. When you're looking at fidelity, and the reason, and again, the reason that will be an issue with the frame rates is because when you get into PvP, I can't be playing Destiny at 60 frames per second against somebody playing at 30 frames per second. That's not gonna fly. Right. So the game has to go to the lowest common denominator, just like your internet connection does. Right. And on that point, you're correct. But if I'm playing something like Horizon Zero Dawn, or I'm playing Mass Effect, or I'm playing Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I'm just playing the solo campaign, the fact that I'm on the Xbox One X and somebody else has an Xbox One OG, that's not going to affect my experience because
okay. So on that we can agree, but when it comes to those consoles playing together, that's where you have the Xbox One X, but since you're playing online, your game has to run at 30 frames per second.
Yeah, it has to run that, but that doesn't mean I'm playing an inferior version. I still have the better version. It's just because I'm playing somebody else that doesn't have the better version, I have to go down to their level. It's the same thing with your internet connection. When you go online and you play in PvP and you got a gigabit internet connection, but you're playing somebody with 5 megs, you're playing at 5 megs.
Right.
You're not playing. You're not getting your internet. You're not getting your full 1 gig internet connection. Right. So I mean that's just the way of the world. There's not much that can be done about that. I guess they could have just said, hey, we're gonna scrap all Xbox and just everybody's got to get Xbox One X. That's not gonna work.
That's not gonna fly.
That's definitely not gonna fly.
Not gonna fly.
I mean there's absolutely a give and take, but I don't feel like I am the only time. I'm not upset. It doesn't upset me that I might, at some point in playing the game, I might be forced to play with inferior settings because I have to play with somebody else. Because when it comes down to it, when I'm playing the games that I really want to play and they're single player campaigns, I'm getting it pretty, and I'm getting the frame rates. Yep. And the thing is, I'm always going to get the pretty. I just may not get the frame rates.
Okay. So we. I think this is probably like one of the first arguments that we actually disagreed on in a long time. So that was an excellent exchange. I accept your point of view, and I'm glad that you accept my point of view as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. over at Microsoft. What else did they have for us?
So the Xbox console launch exclusives. They had a whole bunch of these.
Yo, and what does that even mean?
So, I'm glad you asked, because that bugged the hell out of me too. What the hell is a console launch exclusive? So they talked to Phil Spencer about this. Everybody knows who Phil Spencer is. I'm not going to go into
the guy on stage,
right? So what he said, and it makes tons of sense. They're games that will be launched on the Xbox One first, the Xbox One console first, that may have already been out on PC. Right. So basically, they're PC games that's coming to Xbox first. And some of them, what he also says, that some of them may come to other consoles, some of them may not. Right. But these are basically PC games coming to console, and they're coming to Xbox first.
It's a mixture of like PC games that are going to be on their first console is going to be the Xbox, or some timed exclusives that may come out on PS4 at a later time, but they're getting first.
They're getting on Xbox first, right? Think of Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Right, Rise of the Tomb Raider, yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean,
I'm okay with it, but goddamn, could they have been any more like ambiguous with the wording? Like, Jesus.
It's because they couldn't say console exclusive.
Because it's not, right.
Because it's not. And they launch for, I don't know. I think that's probably the best word. It's just the way the industry is so convoluted that, they have to come up with all these crazy marketing terms to describe what's going on and what they're doing. But they showed a few ones. A couple of them that were interesting to me. I mean, you talked about this, a dwarf game, Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah,
that looks kind of cool. Ashen looks pretty good. The Darwin project, that seems interesting. That looks like a battle arena type game. So
Black Desert coming to consoles is definitely cool for me, because that's an MMO. That's a PC MMO, and with those games, the control scheme is usually freaking ridiculous. Like if you're not somebody that uses keyboard and mouse controls on the regular, right. So with them bringing it to consoles means that the controls will be somewhat simplified and modified so that you can play it with just a controller in hand. So that's something I'm excited about, because he plays Black Desert, and he swears by it, but I'm not about to induce carpal tunnel in order to play.
Well, one thing I was hoping to see, and I didn't see it anywhere, is whether any of these games, especially a game like Black Desert, if they would be crossplay. Crossplay, yeah.
Yeah, it's possible that I could have missed it, because whenever they had one of those little announcements, they showed it in the corner. So if you were paying attention to the actual footage, you may have missed it. Right. But if it has cross-platform, that'd be dope. Especially for a game like Black Desert, where it's not a competitive or it's not a directly a competitive
it's not a
shooter. It's not a shooter or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not a Twitch reaction game.
Right. Yeah.
Where keyboard and mouse gives you a huge advantage.
Right. Yeah. So I'm totally down with that. Any other games that showed up that you were interested in?
No, not really.
Yeah, the Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, they didn't mention it, but that's a VR game. I feel like Xbox.
Right. It's a VR game.
Yeah, that's a VR game, and I feel like Xbox went out of their way not to say anything about VR.
Yeah, I don't. So Microsoft has VR partners, HP, Asus, and there's a third one that's making affordable VR headsets, $199 and $299 for these VR headsets. But I'm not sure. I think this Super Lucky's Tale is actually being converted to a non-VR game. You can play it outside of VR. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to definitely look that up to make sure. But I think there's going to be a version that's not VR.
Okay. Yeah, but that was the only thing that that was the only other thing that I wanted to bring up. It's a platformer, looks cool, but I remember seeing that a long time ago, and I believe when I was watching the conference, I was watching with Mount Lover. He was like, "Wasn't that a VR game?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right. It is." But Microsoft avoided VR like the freaking plague this year. Yeah. They didn't say anything about it. They didn't even bring up the smart glass or anything.
Nope, nothing. It's odd. they definitely have the system, and when I say the system, it's going to be the 4K one, the X.
Yeah, the X has the capabilities.
Yeah, that would be able to run it. But yeah, they haven't mentioned. And to be quite honest, I can't see why the Xbox One can if you can run VR on the PlayStation 4. I don't see not that much of a difference.
No.
But yeah, they didn't mention anything, so we'll have to see what comes on down the line. That was one of my predictions this year, was that Microsoft was going to announce VR
Compatibility.
compatibility on the Xbox. But
I don't know. The market is just like up. It's like it's all over. It's up in the air, man. Nobody really knows this is going to be the next hot thing. You know, in my opinion, you had one hot title in Resident Evil 7, and now that that's kind of like died down, there's really nothing else that's like everybody's like clamoring for on the VR front.
The best VR game, at least the best VR game of the year, was that game Super Hot.
Super Hot, really?
Yeah, that game is I guess
it's a cool game. Yeah,
it gets rave reviews.
It's a cool game. It's out on Steam in a non-VR capacity.
Right, non-VR. Well. That's right. Yep.
All right, so what's the next topic? What else we got?
We get a new Xbox Live avatars.
But I haven't seen my avatar in so long.
Yeah,
on Xbox One.
I think it might be my I'm still using them as my picture. But yeah, we get new Xbox Live avatars. The big thing about this, they look super cool. They're more detailed. That's cool. But they're all inclusive. I mean, they have some with prosthetic limbs. They have a pregnant woman. They have a woman in a wheelchair. You have all kinds of crazy accessories. All kinds of new customization options. It looks kind of cool. I mean, if you like your avatars and such, I mean, they're there. I remember
what video are you showing right now? Because I don't have that one.
It's just is it linked? Yes, the one that's that one that's linked.
Is it in the?
It's in the show notes. Yeah, it's in the show notes.
I don't think you put it in the folder.
It should be because I copied the whole folder.
I don't see it.
It might not. It might have got kicked out.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's just called. Oh. It's called something that I didn't recognize. There we go. All right, I'm showing
it. Yeah. I mean, they look cool. I'm not upset with it. I mean,
no, they're super freaking detailed though.
Yeah. It's sad that Rare is still working on avatars and not a game, but
so Rare's the people that are behind it.
I'm just assuming because they did it last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the avatars look cool, and I talked about this just before the show. As a digital representation, there should be no reason that everybody isn't represented, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do here, is make sure that everybody is represented. They showed the avatar, all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, whatever. It's cool. I mean, again, they're bringing the avatars back. I remember a couple of when they first announced the Rare avatars, they had a couple of games that used your avatar. Mm-hmm. With these avatars, those other avatars, they were crappy. With these avatars, I would actually like to see it. They might be cool. Be cool.
I mean, I always, would customize my avatar, depending on the season. I change his clothes and stuff back on the 360. But since the Xbox One, I barely even see my avatar anymore.
I do. I have my avatar because I know he's wearing.
Yeah, I have one, but
he's got a top hat and he's got a camera. I haven't done anything to him in a long time.
Yeah. Oh, so that's cool. What's next?
We got Idea Xbox. So they tried out all the indie games that's coming out on the Xbox One, which is cool. They had quite a few that looked interesting. The more games, the better, right? I mean, yeah. You can't fault them for that, and allowing they're actually allowing the indie developers access to 4K. So if an indie is making a 4K game, it will work on the Xbox One X. They can spec their game for compatibility with that, and yeah, I mean, you got a lot of games. I mean, when you start adding indies, that makes it's a double-edged sword because you get a lot of cheap ripoffs. But you also get a lot of hidden gems, games that are really, really different out there and give you a different experience than you normally would have.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
The big developers.
Now, what we got next?
We got a Minecraft announcement.
Boy,
we touched on this earlier.
We did,
but Minecraft, they're getting. And I can't think of the name.
Super Duper Graphics or something like that?
Yeah, the Super Duper Graphics update, but it's on what is the engine? It's called the Snow. What is it called? Oh, I forgot the engine they're putting it on, but they're putting it on is basically a unified engine. Every version of Minecraft is going to be made on the same engine, except for Sony's. So if you have it on iOS, if you have it on Nintendo, if you have it on Android, if you have it on Xbox, if you have it on PC, all of those
tablet, like anything.
Yeah, all of those platforms will be able to play with one another. You share a server, you can jump on any server at any time and play against anybody in the world that's playing Minecraft, unless they're on a Sony device. That again, that's amazing. We touched about this. Cross play, cross platform play, cross network play is got to be the next. It's the next logical step,
right? And especially with super huge community based games like this.
Yes,
it's definitely. Like, why would you not want to unify the player base? Minecraft, it seems like it's something that's never going away.
Right. Minecraft they use Minecraft as a teaching tool to teach people teach kids how to develop.
Right.
They use it in math. They're teaching kids geometry with it. I mean, they use Minecraft for all kinds of stuff, and it's amazing because the kids are engaged and they're learning. It's really an amazing IP.
And with Microsoft owning it, it's just like, how much money are these guys getting, dude, for Minecraft right now?
Tons and tons, but. Yeah, I mean, and not to diminish it, Microsoft is still in talks with Sony to get them on board. But as it stands now, it's Nintendo, iOS, Android, Windows, and Xbox will all be able to play together. Other things they're going to have in-game server search, because before you had to know the server and go log it in. Right. Now there's going to be you can go in-game and search it. They're also doing. What else? The Better Together, the Super Duper graphics pack. So yeah.
Good on them for that.
Yeah,
good on them for that. Unifying Minecraft is probably like one of the biggest things that came out of E3.
Right.
Like that is huge for the Minecraft community.
Definitely.
Because it's such a massive franchise across all platforms. And bringing all of those together, like, that's crazy, man. that is crazy. It's damn near unheard of.
Yeah, it's definitely a big step. And like I said, we just need all the games that way. Because, I'm pretty sure developers and publishers want this, because it gives them longer life on their games. They can just continue. They can continue to nickel and dime with microtransactions and add-ons, because they have a significant community.
And now, when updates come out, it'll come out across all platforms. You know, you're not. Oh well, you got the Xbox version, you get it first, or if you got the PC version, you gotta wait. You know, the only ones that are going to be left in the dust is the ones that are playing on Sony.
Yeah, right, as it stands right now.
And I wouldn't put it past them to put out their updates like a week later.
A month.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bad look for Sony, because it'd be one thing if this was Rocket League, right? Or but Rocket League has it. It'd be one thing if it was a game, but I mean, Minecraft. You can't underestimate the passion of the Minecraft community and the size of the Minecraft community. I mean, you got kids from 6 years old to adults 40 years old that are all in on Minecraft. And it's in schools, so kids are being introduced to it whether they like it or not.
Right. It's a bad look, Sony. Better hop on board before you get left in the dust, my boys.
Industry leader, they don't have to. At least not right now.
Not right now, yeah. What's next?
I'm gonna let you take this one. This
is my goodness! Backwards compatibility with OG, not OG Xbox 3, like OG Xbox. The original Xbox is gonna have backwards compatibility on the Xbox One.
That's amazing. And the thing is, the game they showed was was like a game I bought with my Xbox, OG Xbox, because that was towards the tail end of my PC gaming. It was the Xbox, and Crimson Skies was on there.
Skies, yep.
The thing is, if you have your Xbox disc now, and is added to that backwards compatibility list, all you have to do is take that disc and put it in your Xbox One, and it will play.
Will play.
That's crazy.
No repurchasing, no nothing. If you have the disc, no subscription fee, dog. If you have the disc, it works on your Xbox One. Crazy.
Think about it. How many times have you walked in GameStop and see OG Xbox games in a 25-cent bin?
I don't know how, dude. I don't. At least the GameStop around my way, they don't sell OG Xbox games anymore.
No, I've seen the one that's right down here. They every now and then they'll have a bin. Well, I haven't been in there probably about a year, but
I'll see some 360 games, but not an OG Xbox or PlayStation 2 bin. No.
Yeah, every now and then they have a bin with PlayStation 2, Xbox games, colored Game Boy Advance games.
Oh wow!
Like just GameCube games.
Wow. GameStop has been it's been in talks that they were trying to come out with some kind of like retro game store.
Yeah, the retro game store. Yep.
Yeah. So there you go.
But yeah, I mean, you can get those games for super cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
$5-10.
Amazon.
Yeah. But yeah, that's super cool. It's super cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
And I know leading up to E3, and I didn't understand why people were just like, leading up to nobody plays backwards compatibility games. Nobody plays back. That's what they kept saying. Nobody plays backwards compatibility. Nobody uses it. But now I see why they were trying to diminish it, because it seems like somebody caught wind of this announcement, and they start saying, "Oh no, let's just say nobody uses it because we know somebody that can't do it."
and now Xbox is going back 2 generations.
Yeah, that's wow,
crazy. Wow. Yeah. Oh, it can't be done. All right, whatever.
Yep.
Industry leader, sure. All right, next topic that came out of the Microsoft conference, and oh my God, this was probably one of the hypest things that I have ever seen, ever. We mentioned it during the last show, but freaking Dragon Ball FighterZ, dude. Coming out on, it's a multi-platform game, so it's not exclusive, but it was showcased at the Xbox Microsoft conference, and we talked about it because it was actually leaked before E3. But man, when you saw the actual gameplay instead of those still images, holy freaking crap, man!
It looks exactly like the cartoon.
It looks like an
pixel to pixel,
dude. It looks like an HD version of the cartoon. It looks better than the anime. Oh my God, it looks so freaking good. And I actually watched an interview with one of the, I guess, like either the developers or the producers of the game, and she explained that while we do like to cater to our fans and give them a certain type of Dragon Ball experience, like with the the Xenoverse games or what have you, this may not be for them because this is a serious fighting game that's going to take skill in order to play, and this is the type of game that we're going for. It's not your Xenoverse where the fighting system is all over the place. Like, no, this is a fighting game. I expect to see this at EVO next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks interesting. It looks super cool. The only reason I know Dragon Ball is because my nephew was big into Dragon Ball. But
I am a Dragon Ball fanatic. I'm watching Dragon Ball Super, but as it premieres, I'm watching it. I love me some Dragon Ball, man. I always have.
Yeah, but this game, I mean, and I'm showing the gameplay trailer, and man, it looks really, really good. This looks like what Marvel Infinite should be. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite should be. I mean, it looks great.
It's a 3v3 tag game, similar to the previous games in the series, like Marvel 3 and Marvel 2. So you can't deny that there will be comparisons.
Right.
And, from the looks of Marvel Infinite, like this is kind of like blowing it out of the water. Marvel Infinite looks like muddy and gross. At times with the character models, and this game just looks beautiful from the character models, which are 3D, mind you. It looks 2D, but those are 3D models and backgrounds. To just like the destructible environments. Like there's a mechanic in the game where you can parry or knock away projectiles, and then that, in turn destroys things in the background. So like if there's like a house or something, it'll get destroyed in the background. And of course you have your over the top like super moves where the earth gets destroyed, and once you come back to the actual game, like you're in this like fire and brimstone like volcanic eruption that just went off. It's madness. It's madness. That's the only thing that I can think of. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's not a game I would normally buy, but because of who I game share with, I will have it.
Dude,
I'm sure of it.
I'm gonna try and get good, man. I'm gonna try and get good at this, and I expect New Challenger Discord to go ahead and start a community with this because I'm gonna need to get good at this. This looks so freaking good.
Right, it does. It does look good. It looks good.
Yeah, I can't. It's coming out in early 2018, so we're not gonna see. We're not gonna get our hands on it. Oh no, we're actually gonna get a demo before the summer is over.
Right, like end of August or something, right?
Yeah. They're gonna give us a demo that we can actually get our hands on, which is awesome. But we're not gonna touch the actual full version until early 2018. So there's plenty of stuff that they can tease until then, and I can't wait. The hype is real.
The hype is real.
And like you were watching it with me when it happened. I was like, I was losing my freaking mind. It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next game. There was a couple more either announcements or upgrades or updates to games that we saw in previous years. Right. And that's what this next section is from Microsoft. What's the first game they showed?
State of Decay, survival zombie game. Basically, you find a place, you build it, you fortify it, and don't die. Right. That's the point. And it's zombies. It's brutal. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm zombied out. I mean,
dude, was that trailer long as fuck, or was it just me? That thing went on for way too long.
But I mean, they announced this last year and didn't show us anything, so they wanted to show us quite a bit of it this year, I guess.
But geez, I was like, yo, when is this gonna end?
The game looks good, especially if you love those survival games. If you like zombies, it's definitely a good game. You got to team up, you build your base, protect yourself from the zombies. I get a huge Walking Dead feel if you play Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. I mean, not play, but watch the show, I should say. It's zombies and don't die.
Yeah, just don't die. Next up on the list,
we got Sea of Thieves. You were excited about this.
I was excited for it because it's like the first Rare title in like ever.
Yeah. When I was watching it, you watch the trailer. It just didn't grasp me, and then especially after I saw Skull and Bones. I mean,
yeah, I know for a fact that Microsoft was hella pissed. Right. Once they saw that there was another pirate game that's going to be on the market, because while this goes for more of like a cartoony stylized look, and it looks good. It looks good. It's super stylized. That Skull and Bones just
the ultra realism of that, yeah.
The ultra realism and the known like they know what they're doing with ship combat because we've seen it before. Oh, man, it's going to be a tough sell if you have to pick one pirate game for the year.
The thing is, the thing with this is an open world adventure game more than where.
Well, we don't necessarily know that. I mean, all they really showed off was the multiplayer aspect. There was no mention of any kind of single player, or co-op based, thing outside of just versus. There was no indication that there wasn't, but so you never know. Hopefully there isn't for this game's sake. I would hate for this game to go overshadowed.
I don't think. I think Skull and Bones and this game, Sea of Thieves, are the only thing they really have in common is that they're pirate games. Okay. I think they're going to be fitting two wholly different genres. I mean, the Skull and Bones is all about the ship battles, to be quite honest. And I don't remember seeing. I think there was some ship battles on this, but not to the extent of what we saw in Skull and Bones.
No, definitely not.
this is definitely going to have its fan base, and I don't think it's going to be a bad game. It's going to be real. I think it'd be a pretty good game. It's just, to be quite honest, I wasn't really that excited when they talked about it last year. I was more excited about the game that they canceled than this.
Yeah, true.
And
I don't know. It's just Rare has a legacy of creating very cool games, and even when watching the trailer, you can see and hear some of the humor that that Rare is known for, like some of like the campiness that a lot of their previous games, and it's kind of like getting back to that magic that made Rare games, good back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing I do want to point out, excellent water.
The water. I'm looking at the trailer right now. That water, though.
That water is serious, right?
Yes.
It's they got it right. I mean, remember back in the days, water was like, what is this? Transparent floor with some white marks on it. But
it looks beautiful. Very huge, lush environments. I'm hoping that it's truly open world instead of just like, okay, you're at a destination, you can explore this little section, and now you kind of like, instead of like sailing the seas, you're kind of like just like transitioning to a new area. I hope that that's not the case. I hope that it's truly open world, because that means that you could just like spend days playing this game,
right? Especially
if you team up with somebody.
It's
definitely
up to 4-player co-op, correct?
Yeah, up to 4-player co-op with the ability to encounter other teams of players.
Right.
So like you can actually you can get ran up on by another crew.
Get jacked up, right?
Yeah.
It looks interesting. I'm not super excited. Maybe this is another one of those things where I might be interested in at some point, but it's something I would need hands on to convince me.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Next up, we had the premiere of the next game in the Metro series. If you've never played them, Metro Dying Light, was it?
Dying Light, I think
Dying Light and Metro
1835,
1330 something like that. I can't remember the number, but two very, very good games in my opinion that came out a couple of years ago. I never beat them. I have both games on PC and I didn't beat them. The thing that was really cool about these games is that they were made at the very high quality that they were made at with a very small crew.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like one of the coolest things about it, was that the small crew made like a AAA title with a fraction of the money that a lot of these big developers have.
Right.
So I don't know. I have a backlog that is just constantly growing. So I don't know if I'm gonna pick this up, but it definitely looked impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's anything that I can say about it, is that the story is gonna be dope.
Right.
Yeah, the Metro series is dope, and I didn't even know that the first two games were based off of novels.
Novels, yeah.
I didn't know that. So this is actually the first like game outside of the original continuity.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of the original content, yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks good. It's just like you said, it's so much, and you have to pick and choose. And I remember the games. I remember when the first one came out, the Dying Light, and I was interested in getting it. And it was just other stuff out there. I never got into it. And then another one came out, and I was like, you know what? That's just as serious. I might have to pass on at this point. And maybe one day I can get time and go back get into them, back catalog deal. But as it stands right now, I would love to play this. I just don't know if I'm going to have room to play this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. You got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose. The next game that they showed off, and this is something that we've seen back in the day, and it kind of just like fell off the radar to a certain extent.
Right.
But we have updates for Crackdown.
Yeah, Crackdown 3.
Crackdown
starring Terry Crews.
Terry freaking Crews. Oh my God, this guy could do no wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like, dude, like the when they debuted it, the new footage or whatever, and like they had him like talking to the screen. Oh God,
yeah,
so awesome, dude. Just seeing him in the gear, holding that big ass freaking gun. Oh my god, Terry Crews is awesome, man.
He's funny, man. He trust me. I love him in what's it, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh
my god, that's my jam. That is my jam.
But I mean, it's Crackdown. I don't see much difference. It's what's cell shaded action, third party, super jumps, a lot of guns, big explosions. I mean, yeah. I mean,
it's the standard affair. If you've played Crackdown. If you've played them, then you know what to expect. The only thing I think that is actually exclusive to this one is the 4-player co-op, right. I believe. Because I think that you could do 2-player co-op in Crackdown 2, but I think this is gonna have full 4-player co-op. So
I haven't played Crackdown since the first one. Somebody told me it was so great, how great it was, and I should get it. I played it. I didn't really like it, and I never went back to it.
I liked it because of the collectible, the collectathon like feel that it had. Yeah. I love just jumping around collecting stuff. That's my jam. So collecting those like green orbs and like just getting more powerful, just progressively getting more powerful, because you start off as this little like street, like almost like a beat cop or whatever. You can only jump but 2 stories, which is nothing in the world of Crackdown. But by getting good at platforming, jumping around, collecting, fighting, leveling up, you just progressively get more powerful and take out more powerful enemies in more dangerous situations. Right. So it was really cool in my opinion. I've played both games. I enjoyed them, and I will most likely pick this one up. But man, the backlog is going to dictate.
There you go.
The backlog will dictate on this one.
Okay, and that's going to be our Microsoft coverage.
That's it for Microsoft.
I think people lambasted them. I think people, when the Xbox One X came out, everybody wanted it, and when it came out at $500, everybody couldn't get it, and that just killed everything for them. Yeah. We did say Xbox, you got to bring the games. They did kind of bring the games. Most of them are multi-plat. They didn't bring anything to say I'm going to get an Xbox over PlayStation or even over Switch. Yeah. But for those that own Xboxes, for those that are going to jump in and maybe get an Xbox One X, they did bring games. They brought a lot of games to play, especially with the console launch exclusives and the indies. There's going to be tons to play.
Yeah, so we didn't get a whole bunch of like actual Xbox One exclusives,
right?
And I was a little disappointed that we didn't hear that Scalebound was back on track. But overall, their presence at E3 was definitely felt. I felt their presence, especially with some of the multi-platform games that were showcased on their stage.
Right, on their stage. And again, when we watched it, I was watching it on my Xbox One, which allowed me to watch all the footage in 4K. And man, let me tell you, the Assassin's Creed and the Metro, the pretty.
The pretty.
The pretty. Yeah. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay, so we are moving along. If you're still watching, we want to thank you guys. We are approaching hour 3 of of the marathon E3 episode. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We are approaching the end.
Right.
We only have one more conference to go, and that's going to be the Sony conference. So let's go ahead. Let's just jump into it.
Right into it.
Jump right into it. Okay, so first off, one thing I want to say is that Sony they showed a bunch of trailers for like an hour and a half.
Right.
And that was it.
Apparently that was their plan. What's his name? I can't think of his name, but what he said was he didn't want to try to get up and show a bunch of new stuff and jam pack it in an hour or hour and a half or 2 hours. So they just showed stuff that we've been wanting, I guess.
Yeah.
And they said they have more stuff to show at a later date. Again, this is my belief. It is my belief that they're going to be pushing their PlayStation experience more than this E3 going now and going forward.
Right, because they have their own like thing that they do, the Sony experience or the PlayStation experience. So that'll be the place where they unveil stuff,
new stuff. Yeah,
and
then
here
E3 is going to be to catch up.
Right.
So we said we got this game coming out, and then at E3 maybe get a hands-on or an extended trailer, and that's what it seems like they're going to be moving to.
Yeah.
But with that said, they did show some stuff. The first thing they showed I thought was kind of curious. So while we're getting cross-plat play from Xbox and Nintendo, we're getting cell phone play from Sony. They announced this thing called PlayLink, and they announced 5 games, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Hidden Agenda, That's You, Frantics, SingStar Celebration, 5, and Knowledge is Power. And basically what it is, they're PlayStation games that you can use your phone, iOS or Android, to interact with and make decisions. So you make a decision on your phone, or you do something on your phone, and it shows up in the game on the PlayStation if somebody's playing it. I don't know.
So it's not necessarily playing the game on your cell phone. It's kind of like that feature that they have for the Vita, where like stuff that you do on your Vita would show up in the game or whatever, like an extended, like a controller or something like that.
No, it's more progressive than that. So it's like if I'm out at a restaurant in the waiting room to get seated to eat, and I pull out my phone and I pick up one of these games, I can actually log on and connect to somebody that may be playing their PlayStation. And the decision I make on my phone impacts what they're doing on the PlayStation, and vice versa. And so, I mean, the Knowledge is Power is definitely is a trivia quiz type game, and this is Sony billing it as getting people that don't play games to play games. They want to rope those people in by getting them on the cell phone first. I just don't. I don't see that happening. I mean, if they don't play games, they don't play games. People that don't play games and play games on their cell phone play games like Bejeweled on their cell phone, or Words with Friends and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's not going to get Bejeweled doesn't translate to playing God of War. It never will, never has. So it's interesting. I would like to see.
They're going to need to expand on that, outside of these 5 like what the fuck titles, because. But,
The thing is, this is crossplay, but it's just crossplay with iOS and Android. If they're going to do this, they obviously can do it. They're just refusing to do it, and bad on them.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly didn't even remember PlayLink. Was that the first thing that they showed off?
Oh no, they showed it off I think they even showed it off the day after their conference.
Yeah,
it was either after or the day after. It might have been during. I don't remember. But
I don't remember hearing anything about PlayLink. It doesn't sound like something that I would be into, so why?
Yeah, because you're a gamer.
Right.
That's why. Yeah.
All right, but let's go down the list of games that they showed off, because like I said before, it was primarily just a trailer showcase. Right. We only saw the guy come out on stage twice, and he didn't bring any of the developing teams or anybody out on stage. Like, he came out for the introduction, showed some trailers, came back out, and then introduced the final trailer, and then that was it.
That was it, yeah.
That was it. So we're just going to go down the list here of the games that were showed off. First up being Uncharted: A Lost Legacy. And this is another one of those standalone exclusives. It was initially going to be the story DLC for Uncharted 4. But I guess it just, got so expansive, and they most likely wanted more money for than just a DLC pack, so they are releasing it as a standalone package. You will it will not require you to own Uncharted 4 to get the Lost Legacy, but it will not be full price. I think it's gonna be like $40
bucks.
Yeah,
right.
$40.
And so you're not playing as Drake.
No, you're not playing as Nathan Drake.
Nope. That's right.
Yeah, the story. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah, no, the story takes place after the events of Uncharted 4. But before the events of the epilogue. So if you played Uncharted 4 and you got to the very end of that game and you saw the epilogue, it's before that point, because that's currently like the end point of the series. And you're playing as 2 of the prominent female characters in the franchise. One from Uncharted 2, and then the girl, I think her name is Natasha. She was one of the bad guys in Uncharted 4. So these 2 ladies are working together, and they're going to get into different mishaps and whatnot. Don't know too much about the story, but I mean, you can trust Naughty Dog to write a good story.
Right.
It'll be a good game, but me personally, I'm a Nathan Drake fan. I've never really been a fan out of like a lot of the side characters outside of like Sully, because everybody loves Sully.
Right.
But I don't know if this will be a game that I pick up, you know. And with Uncharted 4 having a multiplayer function, like, will this game expand on it, or will this just be a story game and
that's it?
Like just a story, just a campaign, and that's it? Like, will it also have a corresponding multiplayer mode? I don't know. Yeah, so those are the questions that I have. But Uncharted Lost Legacy, I don't know if they came out with a release date. Did
August 22nd.
August 22nd. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just recently got Uncharted 4 because it was on sale for $20. Waiting pays off.
Yeah. It's a great game. Won tons of awards, if you don't remember.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah. I haven't started yet, but I mean, yeah, I have to play it first. And once I play it, I'll decide at that point whether this is something I want to take up, see what happened between the end and the epilogue. But yeah, it's just an expansion.
It's not a must buy for me, even though I've played all of the games. Because when I got my PS4, it came with the Nathan Drake collection.
Right.
So I had already previously played 1 and 2, but I played through 1, 2, and 3 on the hard difficulty. And then I was ready for when 4 came out, and I fell in love with that game. It was very, very, very good, especially if you weren't. I feel like it was even better for me because I played all of them in
succession.
Yeah. So everything was really fresh in my mind. Like when he was reminiscing on things, like I was also reminiscing. Like, oh, I remember that. Clearly.
I remember doing that.
I remember that clearly, like it was yesterday, because it kind of was for me.
Yeah. And I do have the Nathan Drake collection. See, I beat 1. I got about 2/3 through 2. I had 3, but I don't think I ever played 3. I might have played an hour worth of 3.
You should play them, man. They're worth it.
Yeah, no, I'll go back and play them. Yeah, I definitely will. It's just time. But that's why I bought the Nathan Drake collection, and I wanted to play 4. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed what I played 1 and 2. I don't remember why I stopped 2. Something happened that made me stop playing 2.
Yeah, and probably got stuck at some point and just like fuck
this. No. Something life event. Something happened. I stopped playing. Yeah, and I went to a point where I wasn't playing games for a while.
Okay.
And then when I started playing games, I never went back to it. But yeah,
the backlog will dictate. But I think that you should go back and play those. And, play 4 if you have it, play it. I think if you have a PlayStation 4 and you don't have Uncharted 4, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's a great game. But I think that passing on this expansion isn't a big deal. Like, I'm gonna pass on it. Next up, we got Days Gone gameplay. They showed off a CG trailer last E3, and this time they gave us a lot of gameplay, quite a bit of gameplay, and it looks good to me. I mean, it's another third person action game. You're in this, zombie infested world, and what's cool to me is how they're portraying the zombies, because if you recall in the CG trailer last year, one of the biggest things was just like these hordes of zombies, right?
Right.
Like a lot of zombie games that you play, you'll run into like a handful or like 2 or 3 or whatever. You blast them, you keep moving. This game is keeping true to the that CG trailer and introducing situations where you have 10 to 20 zombies that you have to deal with.
It reminds me of the Capcom game, the Xbox One. Oh, I can't think of it now. The Xbox exclusive. They just Dead Rising.
Oh yeah, Dead Rising. Yeah.
When Dead Rising, you always ran into hordes. You very seldomly ran into 1 or 2.
Right.
It was always a large group of them. It's similar to that.
Yeah. This is kind of like my second favorite genre, the third person action genre. So this is something that I knew I was going to get when I saw it the first time, and seeing the gameplay, seeing like the stealth mechanics, seeing how you can run into traps and there will be other groups of regular humans that will try to mess you up.
Right.
It looks good. I'm totally down for it. So I'll be picking this up when it comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. I might pass on this. Just one thing, and it's something I'm going to say again when Spider-Man comes out. A lot of QuickTime events. I don't know if I'm feeling that.
I agree with you. Yeah, a lot of QuickTime events shown off in a lot of these trailers. But Days Gone to me looks like a buyer. I'll most likely be picking this one up. Seems cool.
Yeah,
but let's go ahead.
Yeah, I said it doesn't look bad. It's just, and I said this again earlier. I'm a bit zombied out.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one 100%. Moving on to the next thing that they showed off. This is actually the first thing that they came out with.
Right.
Once the conference started, and that is a story DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. OMG, I am ready.
Yeah, must buy. If you listen to the show, you know how big of fans both Trenell and I are of this game, and to add some more story DLCs, so I can go back into there. I'm super stoked. This is definitely a must buy for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went through this game very slowly, mind you, because of the backlog. But yeah, I cannot wait to jump back into this world. And this was a conversation that we had previously on the podcast where I was like, wow, why is there no DLC for this game? Why is there just this game and then like nothing else for me to do?
Nothing else, right?
This is actually a game where I am like, craving more.
Right.
It leaves me wanting more. I haven't had that feeling in a long time because usually there's always already like a season pass, that came out before the game was released. So
right, a pre-announced season pass, exactly.
Yeah, pre-announced season pass. Yeah,
that's how it's been going. But yeah, definitely, I'm super stoked. I mean, for a while, this is all I played. I sit down every minute, and if I had a chance to play games, I was playing Zero. I was playing Horizon. I loved it. Even after I played it and beat it, I probably put another good 6 to 8 hours into it after finishing it, just running around collecting stuff.
Yeah, and it's coming out this year, which is the best thing about it. So it's coming this year. It's called the Frozen Wilds, and it's gonna be dope, and I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Can't wait. Yep, can't wait.
What's next?
This was a big surprise to a lot of people. Monster Hunter World, a Monster Hunter game, another console one when was the last one?
Dude, I think the last one was like on the original Wii.
2?
No, they had one on the Wii.
On the Wii? Okay. So, and it looks super good. It looks really good.
It looks beautiful. I actually recognized it from like the character animations. I was like, this looks like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it looks good. And it is multiplayer. It was showcased on PlayStation stage, but it is definitely multiplayer. It's coming to Switch as well, is it? No, I don't think it's coming to Switch. I think it's just PC, Xbox.
No, I think the Switch has its own Monster Hunter called Monster Hunter XX, and that game has not been confirmed for the West. That's as of right now, it's only coming out in Japan.
Right.
And that's a Switch exclusive. This one is a multi-platform game, and by that I mean like most likely just Xbox and PlayStation.
And I thought I saw PC.
I don't know, but yeah, this is gonna be dope. This is O's jam. If O was here, he would be geeking out because he is a Monster Hunter fanatic. Yeah, he loves this series, and so he's super stoked for it. And apparently the rest of the community is already they're ready.
Yeah, they've been asking for this for years. Monster Hunter, that's something. If you go to any just general gaming forums, is guaranteed you'll see at least one post with somebody asking for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, because a lot of the games post the Wii title have only been on handheld. So you had some that came out on the Vita. You had some 3DS games. But people like pretty, and this game looks pretty.
It definitely looks pretty. To be quiet, I've never played a Monster Hunter game. I won't say
they're not bad. They're just, I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, I won't say I never will play it. But again, I am a graphics horror, and I like pretty, and this game is super pretty.
Yeah, so it looks dope. It looks dope, and if it's it looks like kind of teased towards like a multiplayer function where the guy like called out to more players or whatever. So hopefully it's multiplayer. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But yeah, this might be something that me and O play together. I'm all about trying new things, and I actually tried the 3DS version. The only reason I didn't stick with it is because it's fucking handheld,
Right.
and it hurt my damn hands after a while. So this is coming out in early 2018, and everybody's pretty much excited about it. The one thing that they didn't show off, and this is something that O mentioned to me, was the fact that they didn't really show off any towns or anything like that.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's right.
All of the footage took place like in
the wild,
wilds or the action section. So hopefully there's like a hub world where you can go and sell your stuff, make gear, all that.
It has to be, because that's
the format.
That's the basic principle of the game, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to be. I mean, they probably just wanted to show off the action. Yeah. Because that's what everybody wants to see. That gets all the eyes.
Yep. That gets all the eyes. And speaking of getting all the eyes, this one got a lot of eyes, but like cross eyes, like in my opinion, because dude, this next game, freaking Shadow of the Colossus is being remade.
Yeah, and
again,
to be fair, it's not a remaster; it is a full remake. So,
but still, man, they remastered it on the PS3, dude. That was the last gen. Mm-hmm. And now they're remaking it. Like, come on, dude. Like, unless because
So let me ask you this question, because this isn't the only game that gets this type of treatment. Do people just keep buying the new versions? Is that why they keep doing it?
Not me, dude. I played this game on the PlayStation 2 back when it was out, and then that was it. There was no. These games. And like pretty much all the games in like the Ico series, like from the studio, have such a massive following, and I'm not hating on them in any way, shape, or form. Shadow of the Colossus is a freaking masterpiece, but I mean, what else is there? Is there new monsters or are there new colossi for you to fight?
I don't think there's new.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, if not, then you're just getting a prettier version of the same game that you already own twice.
Yeah. I do know that they said there will be new controls. They're making it with PS4 assets. But yeah, I don't think they said there was going to be any new content.
Yeah, and that was the thing. When this game was in development, there was a lot of stuff that was taken out that players learned about. With some of like the bonus releases where they showed like the different colossi and like concept art or whatever. A lot of stuff was scrapped from this game. A whole lot of stuff was scrapped from this game. If they were implementing that into this and like giving us like a completed package, the way that he intended it back in the day, that I feel would be worth it. Right. Just coming out with an HD remake. I mean, it's not the same as like a Final Fantasy VII HD remake. It's not on the same level. No, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's warranted. Right. I think this is because as soon as I saw it, I was like, wait, didn't this already come out on PlayStation 3? I was confused.
Right. I like I said, I don't know. It must be people that just buy it because they just love it so much. They buy it every time it comes out. I guess I don't know.
I mean, they didn't even fool me once, but you're not gonna get me to buy the exact same game with like absolutely nothing added to it.
Right.
Like give me something worth shoveling out the extra money.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one.
Okay,
I mean, Mount Lover, he seemed excited about it. He was like, "Oh, excuse me, Shadow of the Colossus." I'm thinking it's like some kind of sequel or something, but no, it's just the original game on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, he's a PC player, right? Did he have PlayStation 2 or 3?
He had PlayStation 2. He was huge on the PlayStation 2. He had the 3, but I doubt that he got the HD remake. So I think this might have been like his like first reaction was like, "Holy shit, a new." Like an updated version, but then I was thinking to myself, like, no, they already did this. Like this, this is not new,
right?
But okay. So let's keep on moving. What we got next?
Your favorite subject,
some PSVR games. Woo!
Yeah. So the first one that we got, the Final Fantasy 15 Monster of the Deep, which
cracking open the cold one with the boys and going fishing.
Yeah, what? What?
No.
This right here is the reason why I put this dumb game down. Fishing, taking pictures, and camping. Why?
Cracking open a cold one with the boys. That's the game.
Yeah, I mean they have some other stuff. I mean, but it's a VR version of VR update of Final Fantasy. I think there's a version that's not this Monster Deep is also going to be standard.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a VR mode to this. It's actually an expansion pack for Final Fantasy 15 with a VR version. Then they also bring in Super Hot VR, which actually is a really cool game. The premise it's actually a cool game because what's cool about it is if you don't move, time stops, and then it starts again when you start moving, which is kind of cool. It makes for interesting gameplay. It makes for interesting strategy.
Yeah, no, it's a cool game. It's already out on Steam.
It's been out.
Yeah, it's been out for a minute. It's cool. You know, and putting it in VR is even cooler.
Right. It's been on, I think, Vive and Oculus, if not one, both of them. It's been out for that, and now it's coming to PlayStation. They also showed off the Star Child, which looks kind of interesting. Skyrim
again.
The Janitor released another.
Well, I mean, I'm just I don't know, dude.
The Janitor released another version of Skyrim over there at Bethesda, and you got Impatient, and then this game called Moss. So Sony's got some, and they announced quite a few actually PSVR games.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of them were already on Steam or Oculus or HTC Vive, but they're getting the ports over, which is cool. I guess they're expanding their library. But we've said this many times about VR. There's just not that game that makes you feel like you have to have VR to play it.
Right.
I'm seeing VR going the way of motion controls. I mean, super big,
even quicker than motion controls went away. Like they were still doing motion controls up till maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
And now VR hasn't even really been here as far as consoles for a whole year, and it feels like they don't have anything to bring in anybody after the initial launch of the PSVR. The PSVR came out. And while, it's been selling, like, what are they playing on it?
Right. The thing is, what propped up motion controls were the sports titles on the Wii and the dance games for at least the Xbox. I can't speak for the PlayStation. I didn't bother with the PlayStation camera.
Okay.
But the dance games for the Xbox, like, I mean, me and my family, we used to play those. We used to bust those joints out. Like Jackson Thriller, and we played the dance games.
Hey.
But I don't see that. The problem with VR is such an isolated experience. I mean, the game is just you. There's really not anything. It's not anything social. Like, so with the motion controls, you had a social aspect. You don't have that with VR. It's just by yourself, and everybody is still stuck in this first person type gaming. They have to come up with something else. I mean, there's something else out there? I don't know. Somebody smarter than me and apparently smarter than the developers out there has an idea. They need to bring it out, or VR is going to just go the way of motion controls.
Right, and everybody that pre-ordered the the PlayStation VR and have these multiple crazy headsets and all these cables. It's gonna go the way of motion controls and HD DVDs, man. Ain't nobody fucking with it.
Yeah, but that's another part of the problem is that you're tethered. That's
right. I mean, they're now coming out with wireless versions or like less wired versions.
Yeah,
but to me, there will never be a substitute for controller in hand, looking at a freaking big ass monitor, playing an awesome game. VR is a cool concept, but you're never gonna take away from the core experience.
Yeah, it just doesn't work in practice.
In
my opinion.
Yeah, cool gimmick, not a replacement.
No.
Or even a substitute, in my opinion.
No.
All right, so that was PSVR. We didn't get a chance to show all of the trailers. They showed off quite a few trailers, but we'll have a list of all the games in the show notes that you guys can take a look at if you haven't already seen them. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game, though. And this one, I'm actually kind of excited for, and that's God of War, another game that we saw last year.
Yeah.
But this year they went ahead and expanded on and gave us more gameplay footage.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks good. Um, there's not really a whole lot that I can say about it, except that I'm a huge fan of the God of War franchise. The
Hmm.
only one that I haven't played, because I've even played the PSP games, the only one I haven't played is Ascension, which is the one that's on the PS4 game. I haven't played that. I'm gonna have to go back and play it. But one thing that I mentioned back when we talked about this, just about a year ago, is that it seems more intimate. That's the
Right.
word that kept coming to mind, like more intimate. Like the camera isn't like way zoomed
Way
out and
zoomed
like
out.
yeah,
Right.
way zoomed out and over, like your back or whatever. You don't have this like quasi top down perspective. It's over the shoulder. So
Hmm.
when you're fighting these guys, they are in your face. You know what I'm saying? And it just seems a lot closer. And then with the introduction of the child, it gives you just more that you need to worry about. You got to worry
Right.
about this kid, and apparently he's going to be a major player in the story. So I just can't wait to see where Kratos has gone since the last game, and
Hmm.
where he's gonna go with this kid. This is a must buy in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never picked up on God of War. I tried God of War 3, I think, or 2. It's either 2 or 3, and I
Mhm.
just I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Again with the quick times, I'm just meh.
Yeah, no,
I
I feel
mean,
you on that. I feel you on that. But
the game from what we saw, it looks good. It looks amazing. And the story seems super interesting. What's going on there? Him trying to. It seems like what he's trying to do is mentor his child,
yeah,
and that's super interesting. But I don't know. It'll take a little bit to get me into this game. Something like somebody has to tell me that, you know, I don't know, something amazing. But yeah,
I don't know. It seems cool. It seems cool to me, and it's kind of like taking a familiar franchise and really a familiar genre. There's plenty of like these kind of like third
hack
person
and
like hack
slash.
and
Right?
slash beat 'em ups, and this is kind of like the first time that we've actually seen a change, although not super drastic change, but
Mhm.
something unfamiliar for the God of War franchise. This is
Right.
this is definitely out of its realm, if only a little bit. Just with just the way that it looks, it
Hmm.
seems a lot darker, and I don't know. I cannot wait. It looks cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. I have a little interest.
No, I completely understand it. If you're not a fan, then you're not a fan. But this shit looks dope to me. I will be picking it up. What's the next game we got?
I don't know. We got Detroit.
We've been talking a lot of games.
Detroit Become Human.
Um, the first thing that comes to my mind is that I'm gonna pass on this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what it basically is like the Android uprising. These androids,
Hmm.
they become self aware. They feel like they're slaves. Something, you know what, man?
Go ahead.
It really annoyed me a bit because when they started talking about like being slaves and stuff, and they had the black character on there, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to say?
Yeah,
That's
I almost didn't realize what I was watching. I was like,
yeah,
where's this like
yeah,
undertone coming from?
yeah. That seemed like to me, it felt to me like it was a marginalization of something that in that in that type of spirit. No, and I think just that part just made the game just a no for me, just because they had that type of audacity. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
and fuck this
Yeah.
game.
So it's kind of like you choose your own adventure type
Right.
game where your the choices that you make impact the outcome of the games, probably the multiple endings and whatnot. It's I've never really been into these type of games. I
Hmm.
mean, they've always been cool games for me to watch. But I'd rather just watch somebody play and see the like an outcome, and then just go from there. Like
Right.
this doesn't seem to be a game that I need to experience like firsthand.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm
No.
not. Yeah. I, it's, no, I don't have much to say. Like I said, the game angered me where the way it started out,
Hmm.
and I understand where they're going. Like after watching it
Yeah,
more, I
yeah, like,
understood where
yeah,
they were
yeah.
going, but yeah, not interested at all.
Yeah, no, that subtle, racial like undertone was unwelcome.
It seems like,
And kind of
yeah,
forced. It seemed forced.
yeah, force, and like I said, they marginalize it in something in the game that's just like should be totally off limits, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like with these type of games, they want to push that kind of boundary. Like
Right,
with these more story-driven games, they kind of want to push that, and that's what they're going. That's what they're going for here.
but they failed
They
miserably.
yeah. All right, let's
Yeah,
move on. Yakuza 6 is the next game that was showed off, and it's Yakuza.
yeah,
We talked a little bit about Yakuza earlier on in the show, where Sega may be bringing these to PC. So if that
right.
happens, that's just gonna expand the fan base and allow a lot more people to play it. Yeah, and this takes place after Yakuza 5 because since Yakuza 5 came out, there were like 2 prequels. No, I think there was a prequel, which was 0, which took place before 1, and then they re-released 1. So now this is finally they're getting to the next chapter in the series.
Right.
So
Again, if you're a Yakuza fan, it's definitely a must buy. I mean, it's 6 games in now, because this will be the 7th game, right?
Man, they have a ton of spin-offs too. They
Right,
have like a couple spin-offs games.
Yeah,
too.
not including the spin-offs.
Yeah, okay,
just the main story arc. This is like the 7th game in. I mean, if you've been playing them, obviously it's a must buy. Again, this is another game. I've always been interested in the Yakuza series. I never got around to it.
Yeah, same here. I've been a fan from afar. I mean,
Right.
I've always was a fan of like the combat, but that's a very small portion of the game.
Right.
Yeah, you're not just running around just like fighting all the time. I'm a beat 'em up, hack and slash connoisseur. So like when I can get my hands on a character and just beat the hell out of somebody for hours on end, I'm all about it. But there's a lot more to the Yakuza games than just beating the hell out of people.
Right. Right.
And that's kind of where like I kind of like fall off because I'm not into gambling and playing cards and
all that other
all
stuff.
of all of the tens of thousands of activities that you can do in Yakuza. That's kind of where.
That's why I stopped playing GTA 4 and haven't been back to GTA at all. And this is along the same lines. I don't like the distractions in my game. Don't add the extra stuff.
Well, so, yeah, but for the Yakuza fans, it's not necessarily a distraction. This
right.
is the integral part of the game.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, for me, it's a distraction.
Yeah, same here. It distracts from what I primarily want to do, which is beat the shit out of people.
Exactly.
Because the combat is brutal. That's some brutal combat. So we have one more game that we're going to talk about, and this was like the finale trailer for the Sony conference. So the last game that they showed off, and something that I was hoping that they would show off, is gameplay for the new Spider-Man game.
Yes.
And there's a few things that I want to say. So I'll let you.
No, I'm gonna let you go. I want to let you go first.
You want to let me go first? Okay. Yeah. So the first thing that I noticed, the game looks beautiful. Looks beautiful, and I'm looking for the gameplay trailer. Where's the gameplay trailer? Is it in the folder?
Oh yes.
I'm looking. I do not see it. What's it called?
Hold on. Let me go to the folder. It's Marvel, under Marvel M.
Oh, okay. See?
Marvel Spider-Man.
There we go. All right. So I thought it was under S for Spider-Man. There we go. Trailer's up. Okay. So the game looks beautiful. It's very cinematic.
Yes.
Like very cinematic. Like it seems like a lot of the trailer, not trailer, but a lot of the cutscene interactions and the gameplay kind of just are just like a natural like mesh like between each other. Like I couldn't tell when a cutscene began and actual gameplay and
fell off. Right?
Yeah, you couldn't. It's really hard to tell. It's super cinematic and it looks very, very interesting. The issue, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's an issue where like, oh well, this is like a game breaker for me, but in every like generation of Spider-Man games, so like from like the transition from the Treyarch games over to the Beanox game, there has been an introduction of new technology or new ways to control Spider-Man. Like in the original games, Spider-Man was very limited in his mobility. The Treyarch games kind of expanded on it. I feel like the Beanox games expanded on it more, introduced new concepts. This game doesn't appear to introduce any new concepts that make you feel more like Spider-Man that I haven't seen and experienced before.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It seems very similar to what I've seen, what I've already played, with some extra flair added onto it. Like it's very flashy, and a lot of that has to do with the abundance of QuickTime events.
Yeah,
there's a lot of QuickTime events in this game.
Yeah,
so that were shown off.
Yeah, the gameplay they showed they showed a lot of quick times. So to your point, I think it seems to me that they're pushing that familiarity, where they want you, especially if you've been a Spider-Man fan, to be able to get in and play something that seems a bit familiar, which I'm okay with. It's super pretty. Game super, like you said, beautiful, ultra cinematic. It's super pretty. The quick time events.
Yeah,
I mean, and maybe it's just what they showed us this particular mission, and you know, it's supposed to be like a quasi semi-open world, if I'm not mistaken, right? Right. So obviously, when you're playing that way, you're not going to be running into a ton of quick time events. But this sure was super heavy on the quick time.
Yeah, super heavy. And like even with the combat system, like I feel like in more of the recent Beanox games, they instead of just going for like, you know, standard like heavy attack, light attack, they actually went for the Batman Arkham approach, and it looks like they're sticking with it here. So that's where I was kind of conflicted, where like I am definitely gonna buy this game. It just doesn't seem like they're doing anything outside of the realm of familiarity. You know, agreeing with what you said there. They are sticking, because even with the traveling, you know, they still have the web zipping that was introduced in Web of Shadows. And I believe that was a Treyarch game. And they have the Batman Arkham style combat that was introduced to Spider-Man in the the Beanox game. So it just doesn't feel to me that they are adding their own own unique style of controlling Spider-Man outside of QuickTime events. It seems like that is going to be like where this game differs from the other ones, because you can do all of these like super stylized shit using QuickTime events.
Yeah, that's fine. And the thing is, I'm still excited.
Must buy.
It is an Insomniac, and they do deliver very, very. The stories they deliver are great. Oh yeah. So I'm expecting that. Spider-Man is one of my all-time favorite Marvel or superheroes in general. He's way up there. And
I feel like he's been the only superhero that has been able to maintain a video game presence outside of more recently Batman.
Yeah, it's true.
I think he's probably had one of the more longer running video game franchise appearances throughout the years. And they just now got it right with Batman. But
yeah, you're right about that. I mean, outside of like the ensemble that was in like Marvel Alliance, I mean, you don't see many good or great superhero games.
So for somebody who's super critical of Spider-Man games, I'm talking and it may seem like, I'm disappointed or something, but I'm definitely not. It's just that this is something that I'm super passionate about. If there's any two series that I always buy, it's Spider-Man, it's Sonic, and it's Spider-Man. Like those are my two, must buy franchises. And I've played every single game in just about every single game in each franchise since I was a kid. So I feel like I have the ability to be super critical about it, and I'm just, it's just something that I noticed. That they're not introducing any kind of new technology that makes controlling Spider-Man, unique to their game.
Right, I agree. I noticed that as well. But I like it because it'll allow. I feel like it should allow me to actually jump in and play without this long, tedious learning
long
curve.
tutorial learning curve. Yeah, no,
Right.
I agree with that, and like you said, that's probably what they were going for, trying to stick within the realm of familiarity, so that players that have played the games can jump in and feel right at home, and the same thing goes for new players. It's easy to grasp, not super complex. If you've played a superhero game like a Batman or whatever, you should feel right at home.
Right.
And that's what I feel. And I love the custom costume too.
Yeah,
I like the costume.
Apparently, they're going to explain why they're going to explain that suit.
I hope so, because
story.
Another thing that they're doing right is not basing this on any ongoing like series or movie or anything. It looks like they're taking. I don't know if this story comes out of the comics. I haven't really been like into the comics in a long time.
Right.
But it looks like they're taking just a story or event or whatever from his history and just going with that instead of focusing on what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's all. That's always a better way of going about it, in my opinion. Like anytime you try to make a movie tie-in game, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Right. I agree. I absolutely agree. I like that they're going with an original story, a seemingly original story.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've never heard of this the bad guy. If you're watching the screen here, it's showing him on the screen. I've never heard of this guy, so it could be someone unique, or it could just be somebody from the comic books or whatever. Right. I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna play it. I mean, I don't really have much more to say about it. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I bought a PS4.
Yeah, it's
exclusive.
Same thing. This is the reason I bought the reason that put me over the top. I had a PlayStation 4. I had gotten rid of it, and I have been mulling getting another one again. And last year when I saw this, I'm like, yep, I definitely want to get this Spider-Man, so I'm going to go ahead and get my PlayStation. And they add this Horizon. When I saw those games, I felt were games I would enjoy. Mm-hmm. And yeah, definitely, I'm 100% getting this game without question, without doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the little teaser at the end of the conference where they showed Miles Morales, that was pretty cool too. So I wonder what role he's gonna play in the story.
Yeah, I definitely want to see. Like I said, Insomniac, for whatever you want to say about how they're handling the Spider-Man and the controls, their stories are always top notch.
Exactly.
And I'm super interested in seeing what their narrative is in this game.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, even if it's more of the same, I don't have a problem with that. It's just I would appreciate it. I mean, I feel like the game would be more appreciated if it expanded and actually became something of its own instead of you're just more of the same. Yeah, that's my only thing. But it's a must buy. I'm gonna pick it up day one.
Yep, I am too as well.
And that, my friends, is E3. That was E3 2017.
Yep,
a round of applause to the chat, to the crowd, to anybody who stuck through this, because we are pushing 3.5 hours.
Golly.
3.5 hours.
This is by far the longest episode
in the history
of a weekly gaming news
show. By far. And we want to thank you all for tuning in. We want to thank you all for sticking with us. Hopefully you were able to pause, go get a snack during our little intermission that we had there unexpectedly. But E3. I don't want to spend too much more time here. We've already gone on long enough.
Right.
But I just want to get some like closing comments or whatever.
Let's get our final thoughts.
Yeah, our final thoughts, and then we're gonna get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
E3, in my opinion, was great. This was a great E3. I came in with very low expectations, and my expectations were kind of just like blown out of the water to a certain extent. I didn't think that the companies had anything to show off, because there weren't that many leaks. And so, you come in, you don't think that they have anything, but then they surprise you. And I like being surprised. I love being surprised. I love when I can get hyped over something. Dragon Ball Fighters, Spider-Man, tons of games. I'm not going to go through the list here, but I was pleasantly surprised by this year's E3, and I am looking forward to the rest of 2017, and I'm looking forward to 2018 as a gamer. As somebody that owns both the Xbox and PlayStation, I am super excited for the year to come. And that's all I have to say. What you got, Boogie?
Yeah, like you said, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. I know everybody wants to pick a winner of the E3, who won, who did the best showing. I think, to be quite honest, they all did good. Everybody except, everybody, because I would say Activision, but they didn't show up. So
EA, I mean,
well, I thought EA did a good job.
Oh yeah, they did okay.
I mean, they brought Anthem, which is. It looks amazing. They brought the other game, I can't think of it, but the
jailbreak joint,
the jailbreak game.
Yeah.
They're bringing live back in. They added some new stuff to that. I think they did a good job. I mean, it's still some more of the same, but they still have something to show. Bethesda did a good job. The thing is, I'm giving them points because they all brought new IPs, and that's what I always like to see. I love to see new IPs. I get tired of sequels. All the new IPs, I'm super stoked about most of them. Ubisoft, they're still hitting out of the park. I mean,
they killed it in the new IP department.
Yeah, they may hit, they may not hit, but they are taking a chance and they're killing it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised or disappointed by the Xbox One X announcement. I mean, I was hopeful that it would be less, but my expectation is right along my expectations. Sony, I mean, I see what they're doing. As far as not showing anything new, everything that they showed was what we've seen before. They had some new, a couple of surprises with the Monster Hunter and the Shadow of the Colossus. But they showed enough to say, like you said, if you own an Xbox, if you own a PlayStation, hell, if you own a Switch, you are in for a treat this coming year. I mean, all three systems have great games coming out, multi-plat or not, console launch exclusive or not. There's tons of games to be played, and they look like a ton of good games.
Yeah, I can agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer here. We have gone on for so long, and I just want to thank you all from the bottom of from our hearts for making this year on this podcast the year that we've had. We've had an awesome year. If you guys recall, we started the podcast last year at this very time, like after E3.
Yep. The week after E3 was our first podcast.
It was our first podcast, and it has been an amazing year. We've had some awesome stories, and we're definitely going to have to do something to celebrate with you guys in the near future. So make sure that you're following us on our social media. We're on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show. You can look us up by the call letters, AWGNS. We're on Twitter at AWGamingNS. We are on YouTube. The link is right here, tinyurl.com/AWGamingNS. And anywhere that you're consuming this media, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on Mixer, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We really, really do appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. We appreciate all of you guys. But I think we've said enough.
Yeah, I think I need some water.
I need some water. Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about games for this long, nonstop. This has been a hell of an evening, and I cannot have asked for a better partner in crime than the homeboy Todd, also known as Up Jump the Boogie. What? I say Up Jump the Boogie, and I am Trenell. We are going to get up out of here. This is a weekly gaming news show. We love you. We will see y'all next week. We are out of here. Peace.